You're 60 years old. You're sitting on Hokage Mountain, and on your head, and waiting for death. You've already seen everything in this world, both death and life. That's it, you've had enough. Kurama, what do you think? If I die, who will you be sealed into? I asked my best friend, and loyal colleague. Kurama is a nine-tailed fox demon, or, more simply, Kyubi no Yoko. Oh, I don't know, little one. Yes, and I don't want to part with you. A red rug growled inside me. That's so cute, Ku. Well, you know, we humans are not immortal. I said, and almost cried. I don't want to leave him. I went down into my subconscious, looked at the big red fox. He sat on the blue water, and looked at me with all his fox love. Walking up to him, I hugged him tightly. Kurama understood me, and also covered me with his arms. Red, I have very little left. It's time to say goodbye. Ku, promise me you won't be the same. You won't fall under the influence of hate, okay? I looked up at him with my blue eyes, and smiled my trademark smile. My body began to tremble, my hands did not want to let go of the fluffy something. I didn't want to leave him, Rikudo, for what? Kurama growled, and began to cry. I felt sorry for him, no, it really hurt me. He is my brother, friend, comrade. He and I went through fire and water, light and darkness. What could be more painful than a breakup? That's right, the death of a best friend. But then, suddenly, a bright light appears. Someone's shadow begins to form from this light. I don't know why, but my body was relaxed. It's like I know him. An old man, a familiar old man, appeared out of this light. And then the light went out, and old man Rikudo himself, or the sage of the 6 ways, appeared to Kurama and me. I ran to him, hugged him tightly, and he did not lag behind me. Naruto, Kurama. The gods have heard your request and are giving you a second chance. You will both go to another world. Your knowledge will remain, only they will be revealed gradually. Save another world. Stop, old man. I didn't have time to do anything, darkness began to appear around me. Where am I? What happened? What happened? Am I dead? I think so. Sorry, Kurama, Naruto. Please open your eyes. You are welcome. Don't die, little sister. Who is this? And why do I hear it? So what's he yelling at? Painfully. Why does it hurt so much? What's it? Blood? Oh no, help me, that's all I could say. The last thing I saw was his dumbfounded eyes, and then darkness. Why do we need it? She's without a chakra. You can have her. Whose voice is that? Dad? But how? You're dead. Stop. Who to pick up? Pick me up? No, please, Dad. Minato, this is our daughter. After all, she is the current Jinchuriki. Mom. Please stop, no Kushina, she will only disgrace our family. For what? Why are you doing this to me? Stop it, turn off this terrible dream. She won't even talk. Do you understand that, Kushina? Yes. And what do you suggest? We'll say she died during the sealing. And we'll give it to your older brother, okay? No, look Naruto, this is your brother Kaoru, you are twins. Who is this? And I'm your mother, Akane. Mom? Foster mom. No, her hair is red. Then, honey, how are the twins? It can't be. Did they give me up after all? Darling, they are just a miracle. Boys, go get acquainted with your brother and sister. Which brothers? Oh, also red-haired. Hi, Naruto. Hi, Kaoru. I am your older brother Aki, author, translation, Aki, autumn, bright, said my older brother, and smiled as if I saw myself. And I am Akira, author, translation, Akira, bright, clear, dawn, also your older brother. He said, and also smiled so widely, as if he was eating a cake right now. We love you so much, Naruto, let's go to training. Who is it? And Kaora. But, why am I not going, and why am I silent? I see myself from the outside. But it's not me. She smiled, shook her head and left. What was that? It's me, but it's not me at the same time. Her hair is red, like spilled blood. 3 stripes on each cheek. Blue eyes, like a cloudless sky. She's been here 3 years. And the hair reaches the shoulders. Well, and the boy is upset. What, again? Why is there only darkness everywhere? Naruto, Naruto, Naruto. Can you hear me? Who is this? The voice is familiar. Kurama. Kurama, you are my faithful friend. I went down into my subconscious, and was stunned. What is it? Why is there this stupid cage, Kurama? Without thinking any more, I ran on my little legs to my furry friend. Ran through the bars, and hugged the fox. He hugged me too, and began to warm me with his fur. Coo, how glad I am. How glad I am to see you. You have no idea what I dreamed. The rug did not move away from me, but on the contrary, pressed closer and closer to me. I'm sorry, but these are not dreams, this is a memory of old Naruto. I saw them too, and as I understood, this Naruto died, and you took her place. They stole the girl, and they wanted to kill her, and they killed her. But your brother managed to pick you up and take you to the hospital. You've been in a coma for a week. Wow. That's it. What freaks your parents have here? I would have torn it up. They were Anbu Konoha, but it was unclear from whom they were. From Danzo, or Minato. He growled. I won't forgive you. But you're lucky. Here you have people close to you, or rather your foster parents, and brothers who love you, the way you are. I pulled away from Kurama, and went to the cage. What are you doing? Kyubi asked, arching an eyebrow. I started jumping to the seal, but there is no water here. Oh right, I was born without a chakra, and the water was my chakra. Ku, I need your help. Help me get on the cage, I want to open you, I said, and looked at him. He started to frown. I literally read his thoughts. I still don't have a chakra, but yours is just right. I know how to manage it. I assured him, but he still did not agree. The button, your body won't stand it. You're only 4 here. Yes, and there will be a strong surge of energy. Remember what the old man said, our strength will gradually return. Be patient, Kurama tried to reason with me. Yes, it helped, but he forgot the most important thing. To develop, you need a chakra. And I don't have it, Kurama. I understand that you care about me. And I appreciate your concern, but you forgot the main thing, I said, very softly and sweetly, and smiled my sweetest smile. And what is it? He clarified, chakra. To develop, you need a chakra, I shouted at the whole subconscious, and you, Kurama, can regulate your strength. Just make sure you don't get burned. I'm ahead of your question, but I still have the key. He just mentally exhaled, brought his big red tail to me, I stood on it, and Kyubi lifted me into the air. He brought it closer to the seal. I tore off a piece of paper on which there was an inscription, seal. Lifting my blue shirt, I saw a seal on my stomach. Ku, give me a little, well, just a drop of your chakra. He just nodded, and symbols lit up on my fingers. I hit my stomach with these symbols, turned it to the right. And the golden cage began to open. As soon as it opened, the floor began to fill with red water. The water has reached my waist. I still wonder at the chakra of Kurama. I had to climb on his head. Here, the button, now this is your chakra. Just learn how to use it. I know that you know how to use it, but your current body does not. And now, it's time for you to wake up. I've healed your wounds. Yes, and you have guests there. Thank you, brother. I slowly began to open my eyes. As soon as I opened them, I was immediately blinded by the sun. The smell of the hospital hit me in the nose. I had to turn my head to the right, because voices were heard from there. I saw 2 adults talking to a doctor. They were all red-haired. 2 men, and 1 woman. The woman had long hair, which is now braided in a high ponytail, but still reached her knees. She was dressed at home, so she was a cook, but still a lot of chakra. There is a man standing next to her. He is a whole head taller than her. Dressed like the head. That's right, they're my parents. And as I remember, my father is Uzumaki. They are talking about something with the doctor, but about what? I can't hear. There's a ringing in my ears. Dad. Mom, I barely called them. This made them shudder. They turned to me. Mom saw me and rushed to me, starting to cry. It turns out she has a byakugu purple diamond in the middle of her forehead on her forehead. My father walked around the bed, sat on his knees, took my hand and began stroking it. It doesn't matter if they are my relatives or not, I will consider them my relatives. Honey, you're talking. It can't be. Mom started crying harder and harder. How are you feeling? Tosan asked. Okay. Even better than before. Ha ha ha. I don't know why, but I started laughing. They jumped on me and started hugging me. Can I invite your Naruto Hime-sama brothers? Wow, that's official. Yes, I'm already used to this. After all, no matter how, the 7th, and everyone addressed me as you. But to be called Hime here in the 1st. Oh, right. After all, the father, roughly speaking, is a prince, and he is the head of the clan, and I am his daughter. And now the princess. Great. Of course. I shouted. He bowed and left the room. A minute later, my 3 brothers fly in. You know, it was so funny. First the first, the eldest, then the middle, and then the youngest. A ladder. The oldest looks about 12 years old. The youngest is 10, well, and the youngest is 4, and all are red. My twin climbed on my bed and started looking at me. How are you, little sister? He thought I'd just nod, but great. All the brothers' mouths dropped. I knew it, so it wasn't my imagination. The oldest one started crying with joy. He is somehow very happy. Oh, you little one. He loves you. A voice growled inside. Oh, I missed him so much. Yeah, and I'm glad. Now, I will become stronger. I will train with you. I shouted, and everyone just laughed. You will. Kachan shed tears again. I was released the very next day. No one could understand what had happened, how everything had healed so abruptly. And that's it. The whole family came home, ate, and then the brothers went to training. I persuaded them to take them with me. Be careful, and keep an eye on Naruto. Mom instructed the older brothers to. Okay, Mom. Said Aki, put me on his neck and went. And Akira put Kaoru on himself, and they ran to the training ground. As soon as we got there, and someone got there, we started warming up, and then, so a trifle, I'll teach you how to throw shurikens now, Aki began. Wow, how cool we are. What are you doing? You decided to arrange a master class, my flea-ridden friend neighed inside me. Yes, I do. Here's a brother throwing a kunai, and right in the bullseye. Then Akira throws, he also has a good aim. The next Kaoru, he misses. His brothers only supported him, and said something comforting, now I was handed a kunai. So I got the impression that they are happy to hear my voice, and are ready to give everything for it. I got into my favorite pose, well, like mine, everyone uses it, took aim, throw. 10. The body doesn't remember, but the brain does. Well done, Naruto. You're just a good girl. Let's do it again. Akira gave me another kunai. I hit the target again. Aki gave me 2 at once, again on target. Youth reminds me. The brothers stand in a stupor, they do not know what to do. Listen, princess. Don't you want to master the sword technique? Sen asked me. I started to blink my eyes, and then it dawned on me. I want, I repeated, and the boys started laughing. Very well. I'll talk to my dad. Aki winked at me. I just smiled really, really wide. Then we continued our training. We returned home in the late afternoon, tired. I went to wash and go to bed. As soon as I did all the water procedures, I was already planning to go to bed, when someone knocked on my door. I allowed him to enter. This guest turned out to be Dad. As soon as he heard the permission, he entered the room, took a chair that was standing near my desk, and sat down next to my bed. Honey, Aki told me here that you went to training with them today, and showed good results, even better than at the academy, and you want to learn the blade technique, am I right? He looked at me skeptically. I just nodded. Okay, I'll teach it to you. You will become a master of this art. Thank you, San. I smiled a sincere smile, and waved to him. He did the same. Good night, Kurama. I wished the same to you. So, well, where to start? Oh yes, let's start from the beginning. It's been 6 years since I've been here. Yes, it's been 6 years, no one has burned me, morons. During the first year, I completely mastered the sword technique, and I am considered a master of this art. For me, katana is everything, I don't part with it even for a minute. Even if I have an ordinary shuriken in my hands, I will do everything so that no one will even think of me. In a word, master. My father is proud of me, and my mother and brothers are not far behind. Then, the next year, they found out that I was doing a great job with the Kubi chakra, and I easily control it, as if it were my chakra. Because of this, I told San that I had made friends with a fox, and opened the cage. My father was tearing up and throwing, but after 5 hours he calmed down, got into my subconscious, talked to Kurama, and began to respect him. It's awesome, right? But my dad is cool. Then he made me meditate under a waterfall so that my control became good, and I'll tell you this, in 6 months my control over Kurama became like Chunan's, even though I'm only 6 years old. Then my father started teaching me Fuinjutsu, and a year later I became a master of this business. All uzumaki were surprised, and some were bursting with pride that they had such a genius. Wow, I'm so proud. Only my family knew about Kurama, and they accepted him. I could safely let him out, and he ran around the house. But he came out so small, so nice, fluffy. Because of this, his brothers ran after him to cuddle. And he was running away from them, it was funny. I fell in love with them as my own, and tried to give what they want, namely love. After that, my father put me in professional hands, and I began to be taught spontaneous techniques. In 1 year, I have calmly mastered 2 elements, fire and wind. But I had a difference from everyone. If everyone's chakra is blue, then mine is red and yellow. And that made my techniques come out much stronger. As soon as my father found out about it, he sent me to the academy, and I stayed there for a week and passed the test perfectly, and became a genin Yuzushio. But I didn't stop improving, and I found a great taijutsu coach for myself. In 6 months, I became like Mato Guy. Of course, my twin brother was jealous, but he still supported me, even though he is now at the academy. But when I mastered taijutsu, I was sent to the Chunin exam. And you know what? I passed it perfectly, and became Chunin Yuzushio. The family was proud, and the clan was inspired. Then, I asked my mother to teach me her technique, namely Byakugu. She was happy to start training me. So another year has passed, and now I have a purple diamond on my forehead. Thanks to this diamond, I can easily heal, and also easily break rocks and roads. As soon as I finished with this technique, my father sent me to the exam for the position of a hunin. As practice shows, I passed it brilliantly, and got into the ANBU. My mother was against it, saying that I was still little. Well, in principle she was right. I'm only 9 years old, and I'm already ANBU. But my brothers and father, on the contrary, say that this way my spirit will be tempered. And so I became ANBU. My twin brother is studying at the academy, the eldest is the captain of the ANBU. By the way, our eldest Aki, and he is now 18, has found a girlfriend, and everything is going smoothly with them. The middle one, he is 16, has taken a team of genins and trains them. Everything is fine, and great. So another half a year passed, I started to restore my old techniques, namely, Rasengan. I learned it in a month. If I used to have it blue, now I have it yellow. To be honest, I've changed everything. At the moment, my hair barely reaches my knees. They themselves are red, only the front strands, which are always in front of me, are yellow. It looks beautiful and strange. Because of these strands, my parents told me who my real ancestors are. But I said that I would never leave them, and I consider them my parents. They exhaled with relief. Well, it's nice for me. Okay, let's continue. So where did I stop there? Oh yes. So that's it. My eyes are even bigger and my eyelashes are even thicker. The strips remained in their place. There was a purple diamond on his forehead. I myself am thin, my legs are slender. To be honest, at my age, my breasts began to grow, although in that world they began to grow only at the age of 12, and here I am still 9. Mom said that at my age, all Uzumaki girls are already starting to grow up. These are our genes, and we can't do anything about them. Wow, I didn't know that. She also taught me how to cook, although I could cook anyway, still my memory was not lost. But I let her teach me, and you know, I'm glad I let my mom teach me. I learned how to cook uzumaki dishes, and they are so delicious. And most importantly, Kachan taught me to sing. It took me 3 years to do all this, and because of the vocals, my voice is soft and gentle. But when I get angry, it's hard as steel and heavy as metal, but most often I use this voice on missions. To be honest, I do not know why my mother taught me to sing. Only then I found out. If Uzumaki can't sing, then she's not Uzumaki. Here are those on, that's how our quiet days passed. Well, except for the fact that on one of the tasks, I accidentally awakened our Uzumaki blood, namely chains. Yeah, I remember my brother's face then, he couldn't speak for an hour from shock. And by the way, he is our captain, Databi. By the way, all Uzumaki say this phrase. I then lost my jaw when I found out that we also have this as a mini defect of the clan. Problematic. So another year has passed, and at the moment, I am now sitting on my knee in a fox mask, with our captain, in front of Yuzukage. Well done, everything is fine. And now to the sad. Fox, take off your mask. Tosan ordered me, and I was worried. She took off her mask, got up from one knee. Naruto, you and your brother will go to Konoha, together with me. There Kaoru will graduate from the ninja academy, and you will look after him like a student. There is. I answered, damn, that's the first time I don't want to go to Konoha. Your brothers and mother will also go. But we will go there on business, you will stay there to live. You, Naruto, will become a shinobi leaf, perhaps even a mentor. Wow, I have nothing else to do, once I become a mentor. And also, they want to return you to Konoha for always, since you are Jinchuriki Kurama. What? It's good that there are only 3 of us in the office. My brother jumped on the spot, took off his mask and started. Father, we can't let this happen. She's our sister, and they've given her up. Aki started shouting. And he's right, and my father understands that. Yes, only Enai-san knows that I am not their own daughter. But everyone loves me exactly like a native, and protects me. My brother is right, to-san. They don't need me, they need Kurama. As soon as I get there, they'll catch me and kill me. Or rather, they will pull out the kubi. I said to his face. He taught me to say everything only to my face. Dad shook his head. Yes, I think so too. But, they know that you are a Hunin, and plus Anbu. They just won't be able to come at you. Honey, you are a master of 3 arts, Fuinjutsu, swords, taijutsu. Plus, you use the Kurama chakra perfectly, and you don't even lose control, and the redhead himself won't let you offend. You own the Byakugan technique, and when they see it, they will run away in fear in different directions. Well, and you own 3 elements. Yes, you cannot hide it. I found out that you have already learned the 3rd element. So, it's just perfect. Yes, and no one can approach you, you are Haim as not, and if they kill Haim of the Uzumaki clan, then this is only war. Father finished. Oh no, not the war. I remember how long it took me to get out of my condition. Very well, father. Persuaded. I puffed out my cheeks. He just smiled, and his brother laughed. By the way, they promised to set up a good guard for you, from the Uchiha clan? Stop. What? Wasn't it cut out? No, small, it wasn't cut out. And I don't like it. They will try to suppress me. Yeah, it's not working out well, and also, I get what you're thinking. In childhood, when Kurama was out of control, they tried to suppress him with the help of Sharingan. But, as we later found out, you are not affected by an illusion, well, or just Sharingan. Wow. My brother said it instead of me. There is. And then Ku was already nervous. I confessed, well, Uchiha, wait, okay. You'll have time to kick their ass. In the meantime, go get ready, we're leaving in an hour. You're both like guards. 5 more ANBU will go with us. There is. We both answered. Disperse. And we were no longer in the cockpit, we gathered very quickly. I took the most necessary things, namely, underwear, a spare ANBU uniform, and now I'm wearing the first batch. Well, just a combat kimono, several pairs. Oh, and one more little thing, my favorite katana, which is now hanging behind my back. Well, shurikens and kunai, that's it. To be honest, I'm 10 years old now. And my breasts are already the first size. Because of this, I packed my suitcase for a long time, just looking at which bras are small for me and which are not. That's it, we all packed up and hit the road. There are 5 ANBU with us, well, if you count me and my brother also in suits, then there are 7 of us. And our full family. Everyone here is a ninja, plus pure-blooded Uzumaki, and if they want to attack us, then I don't envy them. We got off the ground and jumped through the trees. We will reach Konoha in 4 days, it's been 4 days. Our trip was funny and fun. The boys were joking and we were laughing. Here we are on the high road, it leads straight to Konoha. We walk calmly, also joking. And now the main gate of Konoha is visible. And we are already being met. CSR. There's Minato, Kushina, some man in a Konoha police uniform. And next to him, Itachi. And Shisui. Yes, Itachi told me about him. They are both geniuses of the Uchiha clan. I'm starting to burn with heat. I'm all on edge. So Kurama also brings his anger to me. Honey, calm down. Everything will be fine, I promise you, we will not let you offend. Kachan said. And somehow I felt calm, exactly. The brothers and Tasan said together. Thanks. So we came to the gate and Kushina ran into my father, started hugging him, kissing and squeezing. It's been a long time since I've seen you, Enai-san. Well, show me my nephews. Tfu, it's sickening, and I'm glad to see you, Imato. Hi, Minato. They shook hands. Although I noticed that it was not pleasant for my father, my school, I'm glad to see you too, Seth. Said Hokage, and looked at that uncle in the form of a Hunin, and all the while he was looking at me. Ha, envy in silence. Seth, meet me. This is Fugaku-sama, the head of the Uchiha clan. They shook hands, and then Fugaku-san bent down, and this is his eldest son Itachi, and nephew Shisui, they are geniuses of the Uchiha clan. And they will protect your younger children. He finished. But then I took the floor. And by the way, I noticed that my father was waiting for this. He probably wanted to show Minato who he refused it. We don't need the protection of those whom I personally can defeat. I said. Everyone looked at me, with a kind of bewilderment. But our people just nodded and smiled. When I said that, my voice was cold and impenetrable to, oh, yes, I forgot to introduce you. These are my children. The oldest Aki. He pointed at the captain, and Mom immediately attacked him, and at the same time began to look out for someone. Was it my imagination, or is she sad? No, it seemed. This is my middle son Akira. Mom also hugged him, and Enai-san didn't mind, and this is my youngest son Kaoru. Mom and greeted him. I'm your aunt. You can call me Kushina, she smiled, her brother also smiled. The bloody habanero got up and walked over to my mom, and was waiting for something. And the father continued, and this is my pride, or the pride of our family. My youngest daughter, Naruto. Everyone froze, especially Kushina and Minato. Fugaku somehow looked at the fourth one the wrong way. And Mom came up to me, took me by the shoulders. I looked at my father, and he nodded. I took off my mask and everyone gasped, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Dadabi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Dadabi. Kushina wanted to hug me already, but I looked at her so that she staggered. Removing the mask completely, I showed them my diamond. And she began to drive the chakra through the channels. Everyone tensed up, and some just stood there and waited for some kind of miracle. Pleased to meet you, Fugaku-sama. I said, and bowed respectfully. Likewise, Naruto-hime-sama, he said and also bowed. It's nice to meet you too, Fugaku-sama. Said my twin brother, and also bowed. Likewise, Kaoru-san. It will be interesting. Honey, are you sure you're giving up security? Kachan asked. I turned to her, and she nodded. Turning back, I looked at Fugaku-sama, and then bowed. Fugaku-sama, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, but I refuse protection. My brother and I are not weaklings, and from whom to protect us in Konoha. And even if the Konokovites know who I am, I don't care. I said very softly, and then I smiled. Okay. I'm not offended. If this is your decision, Naruto-hime, then so be it. Fugaku replied. Thank you, she replied in the same voice. Then my gaze fell on Minato and Kushina. I'm glad to meet you, Fourth Sama, and Aunt Kushina. My father told me only the best about you. Probably only the dumbest will not notice a flaw in my voice. My brother and I bowed very low. And then our brothers also bowed. Likewise. Okay, come on, we'll show you where you'll live. Minato said, and we went to the village. My hair was in a high ponytail, but still the wind could calmly shake them. In our little squad there were 3 Uzumaki girls who have long hair, and the wind develops them. It's me, Kachan, and Kushina. We walked in silence. I looked at Konoha until I heard a question from my brother. Sis, how do you like the village? I noticed the look of Kushina, Fugaku, Minato, the Uchiha brothers and my parents. Well, it's not usual. I'm just used to seeing red tops every day, and here, a whole rainbow. I said so softly, as if I were a soft cloud. I noticed how my brother's legs gave way. Wow, my God. Now it's clear what Mom was talking about. Our charms are in the voice. Naruto-hime, when did you become a jounin? Fugaku-sama asked. Wow, so he knows too. At the age of 9. Clearly, but most importantly, the voice is soft and not forced. I see. How old are you now? No one dared to break our conversation. And I like it. 10, I said. Wow. So you're the genius of your clan? Yes. I replied. Fugaku-sama, do you still have children? If Itachi is his eldest son, then he also has Sasuke. Yes. I have 2 children. Senior and junior. At the moment, the youngest is still at the academy to study. Said the head of the Uchiha clan. I just smiled. I would like to meet your son. If Itachi-san is such a genius, then I believe that your youngest son is also a genius. Okay, I'll introduce you. Naruto-hime, and your front strands, have you dyed them? I took my hair where there was a blonde color. She looked at Fugaku-sama, smiled at him, and noticed Minato's look. No, Fugaku-sama. They appeared to me themselves, probably faded, well, or it was the chakra that affected them so much. I said, and he just nodded. I looked at Kushina. When she noticed my look, she immediately turned away and continued talking to Kachan. I lowered my head and took hold of my temple. Damn, my head hurts again. Kurama, what happened again? I asked my eternal friend. To be honest, I don't know, it's not me. This is one of the Uchi, they feel my chakra, and try to suppress it. But they only caused you a headache, I see. I stopped abruptly. I grabbed my katana, turned around sharply, and put my katana to Shisui's throat. Yeah, I managed to hide my Sharingan. I took hold of my temple again. Anbu was surrounded by Shisui, and Mom, Dad, and brothers ran away. The elder closed them. Minato covered Kushina with himself. Fugaku-sana protects Itachi. Everyone is silent. Uchiha raised his hands to the top. Stop directing your chakra at me, you're giving me a headache. I snapped. He stopped serving it, and I started treating my head with one hand and holding a katana with the other. If you want to suppress it, then don't try. Sharingan doesn't work on me. My voice is cold. With a quick movement, I sheath my katana. Anbu approached me. Sister. Who did he want to suppress? Kurama or something? Damn it. Stupid Uchiha. I looked at my brother and smiled. And she said it so softly that you can even melt Sasuke himself with this voice. No, brother. He was just scanning me, nothing like that. Uchiha was only surprised by my change of mood, and not only him, but also my real parents. Yes, even Fugaku and Itachi were surprised. Honey, is everything okay? Kachan asked. The brothers looked at me with concern. I squinted at Shisui, and said with my eyes, surprisingly, he understood, moron, they're worried about you now, and he answered me, also with his eyes, I'm sorry. Turning around, I walked up to my parents, smiled at them and we went on. Naruto-heim, don't scare me like that anymore, please. Itachi said, well, it's his own fault. I just don't like it when they try to put me on a leash. I said it right in his face, not even moving a muscle. And my father was only proud, yes, his upbringing. He didn't try. Itachi said. To be honest, I don't want to quarrel with him, he is a good person, and perhaps in the future I will need the Uchiha clan. So, I need to find a common language with them. Yes, and Itachi himself can be understood, he protects his best friend. I exhaled heavily. And we went on. We have come to where we will live. This is a 2-bedroom apartment. My brother already wanted to be indignant, but I persuaded him, and we left our things here. I quickly, well, just like a bullet, changed clothes. She wore a yellow and black combat kimono, which was worn by the mon of the Uzumaki clan. Also black knee socks. Shinobi sandals, black. I undid my hair, now it's up to my knees, pinned my bangs with a black beret. I hid the katana in the seal. And she is on the wristband, and he is on the right hand. And we went outside. It all took us 3 minutes. When we came out, all eyes were on me. I even saw Shisui's mouth drop, and Itachi closed it. Smiling at everyone, we went to the residence. Oh, my office. I promise you, soon you will be mine. Wait for me, we were all sitting in a special room, where important guests are received. Our family is sitting at one sofa, and the ANBU are standing in the back. Fugaku, Kushina and Minato are sitting opposite. But Itachi and Shisui are standing behind the sofas and guarding them. Tea was served to us and we started drinking. The fourth exhaled and began. Although no, I haven't started. The elders came into the room. And all 3 of them, oh no. We got up and bowed, they bowed too, and sat down on another sofa. Now we were sitting on the floor in a circle. The elders are in charge now, and it's like we're their subordinates. And then Danzo took the words. I am glad that you, Uzukage, made the right decision and returned the Jinchuriki back to the village. I was smiling sweetly, and I was holding a mug in my hands. My nerves are starting to come to naught, and it seems to me that I am about to break an expensive service. Mom also has this feeling, only the boys sit quietly and listen, although no, they also have nerves at the limit. I won't walk around for a long time, and I'll tell you straight. Let me take Jinchuriki to my root, and make a normal weapon out of it. Finished Danzo, you old. I'll tear it up, we agree with Danzo, she is on a leash. No fig to myself, I even keep some phrases under lock and key, but they say everything right to my face. I saw the angry looks of Kushina and Fugaku. But Minato kept everything under control. That's it, my nerves are kaput. I break the mug, or rather I squeeze it in my hands, and my palm is covered in blood. The pieces fell to the floor, everyone looked at me. I keep smiling sweetly. This time Mom couldn't stand it, she put her mug back in place, got up from her seat and started shouting at the elders. I'm against it. I will not allow my daughter to be put on a leash like some kind of mutt. If you even touch her with a finger, I will personally tear you apart, and I will not care that you are the elders of Konoha," she said. Dad began to calm her down. He is afraid of his mother, especially when she is angry. Oh, the whole clan is afraid of her. Kachan's hair started to fly up. I swallowed nervously, and not only me. The brothers began to move away from her. And the Anbu took a whole step back. "Ha ha ha, Kane-sama, we understand that you love her very much, but she is a Jinchuriki, and she must learn to control her emotions. Because of this she must be put on a leash," one of the elders said. "Creatures! I will personally kill you." I slammed my fist on the table. It fell apart. Mom smiled approvingly. I got up from my seat, went to the exit. "Honey, where are you going?" my father asked. He was already used to such antics. Well, uzumaki are emotional in themselves. I went to the exit without turning around. "Go home, pack my things, I'm going back to Uzushio," I answered, and kicked the door with my foot. Now there's dust in the hole. Some shinobi who were passing by this bounced off and pressed themselves against the wall. And I went on, "POV Shisui, what was that?" I look at the place where the door was, and instead of the door there is a hole. That's the power. She reminds me of Tsunade-sama, who is currently on a journey. I looked at the elders. They didn't even raise an eyebrow. As I understand it, she is a Jinchuriki Kubi, but most importantly, her name is Naruto. Something doesn't add up here. Exactly 10 years ago, we were attacked by a nine-tailed man, and he was sealed in the daughter of Hokage, Naruto. But she's dead. Or maybe just namesakes. Itachi and I exchanged glances, almost laughed, but restrained ourselves. I noticed how Fugaku-sama started to smile. Wow. But the Hokage family frowns. And Yuzukage smiles quite a turn, well, in principle, like his children. Then the youngest son, Kaoru, gets up. "Sister. Wait for me, I'm with you." He bowed and ran after Uzumaki. "Seth, you didn't bring up your daughter at all," said Hokage, and somehow cloying. "They are starting a war of views." "Oh no, we are raising our daughter well, she knows everything from A to Z," said Yuzukage. And his wife was peacefully drinking tea. In my opinion, a couple of minutes ago she was screaming and releasing Ki. Well, just like Kushina-san. Oh yes, they are Uzumaki. And these are still the people, especially women. God forbid, I'll contact one of them. Personally, I also wanted to do. I would not be pleased if I was put on a leash like some kind of mutt. Akane-sama snapped. And she's right, even Itachi and Fugaku-sama confirmed her words. She is a Jinchuriki, and the weapon of our village. It's not our fault that you sealed our Bijta into your daughter. The elder also replied. That's right, in our daughter. Akane replied. Well, you can understand her, she protects her child. I agree with Kachan. We won't let our Amato sit on a leash, even if the clan finds out about it. Then I guarantee you, they won't even think, but just the whole horde will come for her. And they won't care that Konoha is our comrades. Wow! Said the eldest son, he's the main heir. And it turns out, the future head. Are you threatening us like that, Aki-san? Danzo asked, and he already chickened out. Ha! It's funny, no. I'm warning you. It's just that you haven't heard me intimidate, well, or threaten. And it's true about the clan. Naruto is loved and respected by the whole clan. She is the only one at this age who was able to master Byakugan, and she mastered it at the age of 8. Well, wow. Wow. I just can't even imagine how strong she'll be at 13. But she's a vessel. And she needs a good lesson to control her feelings. You saw what she did. One of the elders shouted. She's not a vessel, she's our sister. And now the middle son has gone into battle. Akira sort of. To be honest, I'm surprised. I thought that some Uchiha love so much. And it turns out that Uzumaki are ready to bring mountains for the sake of family, friend, or just an acquaintance. Commendable. If it lasts, we'll just turn around and leave. And my sister doesn't like this village either. She said that at the beginning, when we first came in here. He said and sat down in his seat. Then Itachi took the words, but she said that she's just not used to it. My brother tried to fix the situation. We have known my sister since she was a baby, so we also know her manner of speech. Well, in principle, yes. And I felt kind of sad. She called our village stupid. This is not excusable. I didn't even notice how two people sat down on the sofa, or rather those who left. It seems to me, or she will turn me into a nickname. How's the arm, Naruto-chan? Kushina-san tried to remove the tremor in her voice. Although, everyone heard that she was nervous. And at this time, Naruto herself looked at the elders, then turned her head to the Hokage's wife, smiled at her and said, "Everything is fine, Kushina-san, everything is healed." She replied, and showed her palm, "We can continue. But if I hear something about suppress, chains, shackles, lock up, collar, I won't even look that you are the elders of Konoha, you will just fly out through the window," she said and pointed her finger at the windows. She has such a soft voice, I can't even believe she can do it. Although, what she did with the table, anything is possible. Okay. If you Naruto-hime do not want to go to the route, then let them look after you. The old man pointed at Itachi and me. They will look after you, well, or just as a last resort, they will suppress the Kubi, he finished. I looked at Hime, she started thinking something. And they don't know that Sharingan doesn't work on her. Okay, what? She refused our help an hour ago, well, or insecurity. And now what? That's great, we've decided everything, we can leave. The three old men got up from their seat and went out through the hole. And some shinobi who passed by, look in here. Forgive me for this concert. It's just that if we didn't suit him, then Danzo-sama would have gone to everything. The main thing is to get a kubi, he doesn't care about the carrier, his essence is the main thing for him. And there, if I got to him, he would have pulled out the big one. Well, or he subdued me, and forced me to go to the fourth. Well, and there you understand that, she said and bowed her head. So they made it all up, so you made it all up? Fugaku-sama asked, yes. My sister suggested it herself, and we agreed with her. When we encountered ANBU route squads on missions. And what do you think they were doing? Naruto's older brother asked, and what is it? Kushina-san asked apprehensively. They attacked us every time, they didn't care that we were from an allied village. And every time, they attacked Naruto. It is easy to calculate. She is the only one in our clan who has such hair. And when Naruto was 4 years old, she was stolen by ANBU route. And they almost killed me, if I was even a second late, she wouldn't be here. And after that incident, she started talking, and there was the chakra, and everything in order. Wow! Wow! Naruto put her hand on his, and smiled sweetly at him. I don't know what's happening to me, but I'm jealous of her. Damn, what a thought, why didn't you tell us about it? A fourth man shouted. What's the matter with him? Well, basically, if he's worried just because she's his niece, well, then yes. It's no use, we couldn't trust you then, Minato. We didn't know exactly whose ANBU it was, Yuzukage said. Naruto sat in silence, and twisted on her finger, a ring. So also an engagement ring. So also on the finger where the bride's ring should be. So she's engaged. I'm not the only one who noticed it. Everything is clear. But we are glad that everything is fine with Naruto-chan, Kushina-san said affectionately, and I didn't know that she could do that too. Naruto broke away from the ring, looked at the bloody habanero, and smiled. Kushina-san noticed the ring and was horrified. Listen, Naruto-chan, are you engaged? Everyone looked at her at once. I don't understand what's wrong with me, but for some reason it hurts. If he says yes now, my heart will break. What's wrong with me? She looked at the ring. This, she pointed to the ring. Everyone nodded. Although who is everyone? Only the 5 of us nodded. She started laughing. My God, that's a laugh, so beautiful and pure. No, it's just a family heirloom. It's just more convenient for me to wear it here. Phew. What does fa mean? Damn, what did she do to me? It was as if a stone had fallen from my soul. I see. Well, I think we'll solve everything else in my office, Seth. Uzumaki just nodded his head. Naruto and her brothers got up, and already went to the exit. And we follow them. If you guard, then guard. Anbu went out the former door, and stood across the wall. Naruto started high-fiving them all with her fist, and they willingly answered. Wow. Then, we went outside. Where are we going? The princess turned to Itachi and me, and looked at us point blank. I don't know, it's 5 o'clock, so, she seemed to brighten up. I saw the lights in her eyes. Does your academy work until 5? She asked Itachi and me. We looked at each other, and nodded. Great, then let's go get Sasuke. I want to be friends with him. She's like a little girl who doesn't know how to do anything at all. That's right, they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I don't know. Will he be glad to see us? And Haim was no longer listening. She went in the direction of the academy. And how does she know? And the brothers followed her. Where are you going? How to where? To the academy. Catch up. Naruto's twin brother shouted. So are they censors? Itachi and I just shrugged our shoulders and ran to catch up with them. We walked in silence, just afraid to break the silence. Listen, sister, am I going to study there alone? Kaoru asked. He started looking at his sister point blank, but she didn't even look at him. The spitting image of Uchiha. Oh, that is, Uzumaki, I think not. Probably, they will send me there too, but like a stupid girl. To keep an eye on you. Well, who knows? And she's right. Here we come to the academy. Here we see the following picture. A crowd of girls are running after Sasuke, and he is running away from them. Then suddenly he sees us and runs to Itachi. The girls stop and look at Naruto. Sasuke reminded me of me as a child, although why, as a child, there are a lot of girls running after me now. I've told them 100 times that I don't like them, but they do. All Uchiha are so beautiful. And now what? We noticed how some of the boys were looking at Naruto. Even Sasuke did not reach his brother. He began to examine her, and her brother. Oh, Sasuke, you've got competitors. My cousin came up to Itachi and hugged him. I've always wanted a little brother, too. Oh, not fate, Hai-ni-san, Shursuanae-san. And who is this with you? He looked back at the twins. And then on the other two. Hi Sasuke. I'm Naruto, your father told me a lot about you, and believe me, only the best. Naruto Haim said. Awesome, but she knows how to lie. She held out her hand to him, he shook it, and immediately took it away. Why? Is something wrong? No, I just got electrocuted. Hey, by the way. I'm Sasuke Uchiha, very nice, Naruto. And why do you all have red hair? And, although no, you also have blonde hair, what did you paint? Itachi and I laughed, and not only us. Everyone here laughed. No, I didn't. They've been like that since birth. And the reds are because we are from the Uzumaki clan. This is my twin brother Kaora. They bowed to each other. And these are my older brothers, Aki and Akira. He bowed again, and they did not lag behind. I see. So you're the only girl in your family? Wow, how quickly they became friends. Itachi and I barely find the words to her so that she doesn't stab us. And he, once and everything is ready. Well, if you also count my mom, then there are two of us. And so, yes. I am the Heim of my clan. Sasuke's eyes widened and he started bowing to everyone. What are you doing? What is it? She asked, somewhat surprised. Well, you're a clan princess. Yes, and Uzumaki, it's such an honor. Naruto started laughing, and Sasuke stared at her. Her laugh is soft as a cloud again. I'm going to sit down now and sail away, far, far away. Ha, ha, ha. Don't do that to Sasuke. Let's be friends. After all, maybe we'll be your classmates. I answered him with a smile. That's exactly why on you, if possible on you. Kaoru said, good. And let's go to a cafe, and we'll sit there. Sasuke suggested, I'm hungry by the way. We agree. The brothers and sister answered in unison. Holy shit. And then they all laughed. Now you can see that they are a family. Sasuke-kun. And where are you going? Can I come with you? Who was that? What kind of voice? Why is he so squeaky that he cuts his ears already? Sasuke jumped up, took the twins by the hands and dragged them to the cafe. We just laughed about it, and followed them. Then Akira starts talking. You look after our sister, just don't make her angry, otherwise you will be like that table. Aki has already been there. Itachi and I looked at Naruto's older brother, who swallowed. Don't be afraid, she cured him herself later. Simply, if she is very angry, then do not approach her less than 10 meters, and preferably 20. This is so, just in case. And so Amato is very kind, and good. So we are afraid for her. He looks at his sister, who laughs at his brother's jokes. Don't worry, we'll do everything perfectly. I convinced them, we have no doubt. Just try to find a common language with her and with her brother too. If one does not trust one, then the second will not trust either. And yet, I advise you to find a common language with her much faster. Why? Itachi. Because she does not tolerate being called you or Heim. She doesn't like to hide behind her status, she always decides everything herself. I see, it means independent. He and his brother are inseparable. If they break up, then one will be sad, and then the other. Everything is clear. These are very useful tips. And then we hear from Sasuke, Naruto, what kind of purple pimple do you have here? She started laughing, and so did we. Sasuke looked at us sideways, we immediately shut up. Sasuke, it's not a pimple. This is the power of Naruto, well, or just, Byakugo. She can heal easily. But, and also easy to break. She can easily break this house with one blow. We all looked at the 3-story house, but no, it can't be, it can't be. Sasuke said, but, it's true. Once, I made my sister very angry, and she broke an innocent house out of rage. Which was, moreover, four-storied. What the fuck? Itachi and I looked at the brothers, who nodded at the same time. Because of this, men. Uzumaki never argue with women, they are just afraid of being flattened. He finished. And we noticed how Aki's face changed, he remembered something. Naruto saw her brother's face and started laughing. Brother, don't be afraid. I managed to talk to Rosa, Itachi won't kill you at home. He exhaled, we looked at him uncomprehendingly, but Akira started laughing. I have a girlfriend Rosa, and we quarreled with her. And she also has a Byakugan, in short, you understand us. He finished, and we just nodded and followed the punks. We went into a cafe, chose the most delicious thing that was there, namely Itachi dango and roll, with coffee. I'm a dango and a salad with tea. Sasuke salad with tomatoes and juice. The three brothers ordered an omelette and juice. And Naruto. Dango, juice and salad. Cute. The Uzumaki brothers said that they would pay for everything, it was like in honor of dating, well, but we did not argue. They were just scared of Naruto's angry look. Oh my god, Naruto, what else do you do? Sasuke asked, well done, he started from far away, our school, I don't know, I'm singing. What? Does she sing? Great. Now it's clear why she has such a voice. I'd like to hear it. I see. Listen, Naruto. I thought you said that you would be my new classmates. It's true? He seemed to be beaming. Probably yes then no. Kaora replied, but we can't say that it was in your class. Sasuke got a little sad. And then there was something that everyone did not expect. Naruto hit her twin brother. It's strange, Naru has a mustache, but Kaoru doesn't. He's joking like that. Of course we will get to you Sasuke. Uzumaki Jr. answered. Kaoru began to rub the bruised place. And his brothers are laughing. My sister's hand is heavy. Aki replied. Well, we've already seen that. And not that heavy. It's harder for mom, all four of them swallowed. Wow. Now it can be seen that they are being held in tight reins. We all ate. Uzumaki, as promised, paid for dinner. Here we went out into the street, and it was already sunset. Yeah, the day flew by quickly. The princess looked at us. And let's all go together to Mount Hokage, and from there we'll watch the sunset. We all looked at each other, and then nodded. She smiled, then laughed. Who is the last worm? And rushed to the mountain. We didn't have time to understand anything, as only the three of us remained. Sasuke realized and also ran to the mountain. Itachi and I exchanged glances, shrugged and used shunshin. As soon as we were on the mountain, everyone was already standing there. That's it. Even Sasuke. Choose which of you wakes up the worm. And then she laughed. I couldn't even imagine that this little girl, and part-time, Anbu and Hunin, can have fun like this. Well, then, you're Shisui. My brother told me. What? Why me? You landed second. I began to get indignant. And everyone started laughing. I looked at the princess. She smiled at me and turned to the sunset. Her hair fluttered as if yielding to the wind. She was standing on the edge, next to her brothers. It was as if they were her protection, her support. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen this. Since Naru has long hair, they flew to Sasuke. He caught them and began to examine them. Sensing something, Naruto looked at my cousin, approached him, and then asked, "Do you like them? Do you like long hair?" He raised his black eyes to her, and looked at her point blank. Blushed a little, let them go. And the hair on the contrary did not want to let Sasuke go. And I sat in the back, leaning on the hair of the fourth, and watched it. Itachi sat down next to me. And the Uzumaki brothers sat down next to another Spike. The children were standing together in a small circle. Well, yes. They're soft and long. And most importantly, they are so red. Sasuke looked dreamily at Uzumaki, and for some reason I began to be jealous of Naruto, but why? What's wrong with me? Thanks. But if you really want to see long hair, go to our clan, there's only long hair. No one has short ones, well, except men and guys. She answered him, and then smiled. He blushed and looked away. How long have you been growing your hair? Itachi asked. Wow, what's wrong with him? In my opinion, all my life. She answered, and looked at the brothers. She smiled softly and walked over to them. We looked at them, they are already asleep. Awesome. Oh, yes, the road and all that. Naruto took them, and threw one on her shoulder, and the other under her armpit. Affigate. We were in shock. Sasuke opened his mouth. And Itachi and I just swallowed. Her twin brother jumped off a cliff. He's going to crash. We quickly ran to the edge, looked at the bottom. And he is standing on the road, and went to the side of his new home. Thank you for today. Bye, boys. She was about to leave. Can I help you? I asked. No, thanks. I'm on my own. And she disappeared into Shunshin. I woke up early, all because my parents are leaving today, and my brothers too. Well, who knew that they came here for one day? After going to the bathroom, I quickly did all the water treatments. She came out and went to the kitchen. Passing by the living room, I managed to see how the older brothers were still asleep. Well, if they are sleeping, then the youngest is even more asleep. Since we have a 2-bedroom apartment, Kaoru and I agreed that everyone will have their own room, and the last one will be a living room. He did not even arise, but simply agreed. Entering the kitchen, I went to the refrigerator, took all the ingredients I needed, and started cooking. After about 30 minutes, an omelette was cooked, and 9 bento. Yes, I made 9 portions of bento. This is for Anbu, and parents. After the omelette was ready, the boys ran into the kitchen. They sat down at the chairs, took forks, and shouted, "Eat!" Seeing this sight, I laughed. Dividing the omelette into 4 portions, I put them all. Sitting down at the table, she began to eat herself. Listen, Naruto, Kaoru. Are you sure you want to stay? After all, the elder brother was not allowed to finish the younger one. No brother. My sister and I are on our own. I promise I will protect her. And no one will pull Kurama out, Kaoru replied firmly. Well done, little one. Akira made a joke. A little mockery could be heard in his words. Like, he's not going to protect me, but I'm going to protect him. Brother. Here, I'll train him. He will be able to give you a cradle later. Oh, fuck you. My twin brother answered. Yes, it happens to them. But they still appreciate each other. That's enough. Actually, we're eating. Akira, chew faster. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Aki yelled. It was the only way he could calm the boys down. I just mentally exhaled. She got up from her seat, put away her dishes, patted the boys on the head, and went to her room. It is necessary to dress properly, or else the parents will not understand. Entering the room, I went to the closet. Last night, I had to put all my stuff in the closet. Well, what can I do? If the habit is like that. Opening the closet door, I started looking for something suitable. As a child, in my world, I didn't really care what to wear. And here I am, the Haim of the clan, and I have to dress accordingly. But not now. It turns out that my mother bought me good clothes here, in which I can safely walk, well, or train. But because of my habits, I got used to these kimonos. But I want to wear something inconspicuous today. Having found in this big booth a black skirt that was 20 centimeters above the knees. And a green t-shirt with a figure 5 on the front. And behind the Mon clan uzumaki. I braided my hair into 2 ponytails, with black ribbons. Now they were just a little below the 5th point. I wore black shinobi sandals on my feet. After leaving the room, I found the boys who were already sitting in the living room and waiting for me. Seeing me, all 3 of them dropped their mouths to the floor. A little embarrassed, I turned away. And the boys probably rolled their eyes out of their sockets. "Sis, are you all right?" Aki asked. "Didn't something hit you in the room?" Akira asked. "Maybe. Still home?" "And then this Konakovsky air doesn't act like that on you," Kaoru said. "Did you smoke?" They all shouted together. I started to blush with anger. If I do something wrong, they start teasing me. And I'm just angry. Here they are all rolling on the floor laughing. And all I have to do is release the heavy ki. They shut up abruptly, raised their red-haired heads at me. When they saw my angry little dog, they swallowed in unison. Then, to finally scare them, I directed my chakra to the seal that is on my forehead. It opened, and spread over my body. The boys sensed that it was going to be hot, began to get up slowly, and then began to run. Aki and Akira jumped out of the window. Kaoru ran to the door, and a second later he was no longer at home. Ha ha ha. Oh, I can't. Ha ha ha. Why are you being so rude to them? That's my best friend awake. Oh Kurama, that's not all. Flying out of the house, too, through the window. I found these degenerates, they noticed me and ran towards the main gate of Konoha. Wow. That's the speed. Even Kaoru overcame himself out of fear and ran at the speed of his older brothers. But that won't stop me. I made a leg like a mad bull, exhaled hot steam from my nose, and ran after my prey. My hair split into 9 parts, and the seal began to give me all the chakra. Wow, this is a surge of strength. I start to run faster, and when my brothers see their death, or rather me, they accelerated even more, and began to approach the main gate. When they saw their parents, they ran to them and hid behind their backs. And I was still running. Seeing not only the parents, but also yesterday's guests, who looked at the brothers with uncomprehending eyes. They looked at me, and then nodded understandingly as soon as they saw me in this state. The Anbu hid behind their father. Shisui and Itachi tried to make their mine a brick. But they sensed my ki, and hid behind the Fugaka itself. The 4th and Kushina stood rooted to the spot. And Mom was smiling affably. Apparently, her upbringing. When I got to my parents, I started looking at these cowards. "Dad, step back," I warned him. He just shook his head. I had to step back, exhaled. Well, I can't go against this man, who gave me his love, and gave me knowledge. Having calmed ki, my hair arrived in the right shape. They became smooth and calm. Byakugu I deactivated. Now I'm a sweet and calm girl again. Smiling the sweetest smile, the boys exhaled with relief and came out of their shelter. And my father just smiled. Everyone came out of their stupor, and then it started. What happened? Mom asked. I turned away from her. I was ashamed in front of my mother. After all, I promised her not to use this technique on my brothers. Kachan saw something in my eyes and turned to the boys. They faded away. What did you do, and why us? Akira asked. Akira, you know Naruto wouldn't just use Byakugan. I ask, what have you done? All three lowered their heads. They were ashamed. First of all, they are told off in front of everyone. Secondly, they have disgraced themselves. Well, Amato misunderstood our joke. He. The oldest one tried to justify himself. Okay, Mom. It doesn't matter. It's time to say goodbye. I said, and I was depressed again. Mom just smiled, came up to me and hugged me. Well. Naruto, we will come to the Genin exam. We want to see your future students. Perhaps one of them will inherit your power. Ka-chan said and pulled away from me. She said it in my ear so that no one would hear. I looked at her blankly, she just winked at me. After Mom, my father came up, patted me on the head, and passed me a red scroll unnoticed. I nodded gratefully. While I was saying goodbye to Anbu, Tosan and Kachan were saying goodbye to Kaoru. After that, I hugged my brothers, and told my brother, Aki, if suddenly. Well, all of a sudden, Rose will give birth to a baby. I stopped talking. He blushed, looked at me with incomprehension, then at my mother, who immediately turned away. Then he looked at me again. I'm going straight to Uzushio, and I'm becoming a godmother, okay? Okay. He answered somehow, not thoughtfully. Then, all Uzumaki waved to everyone and went back. As soon as they moved away from the village for 20 meters, they disappeared. Sister, what did you mean? My brother asked. A secret. I said, and giggled a little. Moving away from this little stress, I looked at the fourth Hokage-sama, now to the academy? He looked at me. He smiled and nodded. We went to the academy on the same right. So, Naruto, listen to me carefully. You'll be at the academy, silly girl. You don't have to reveal yourself. And then, when 2 years have passed, you will become the mentor of one of the 10 groups. He walked towards the academy without looking at me. There is. Damn, it's a habit. Hitting my forehead with my palm, I had to close my eyes. Stupid habit. Now it will be necessary to somehow get rid of it. By the way, Shisui, Itachi, I hope you won't meet us after the academy, otherwise it will look kind of strange. And also, let's practice today at 6, at the 5th training ground. The boys started thinking, looking at them over their shoulder, they just nodded, and I smiled. What a chatterbox you are, Naruto. Kushina started laughing. Of course. I'm Uzumaki, Dadabi. And threw her fist up. Noticing the smirk of all three Uchiha, I also, ironically, grinned. They came. Then we ourselves. Grabbing her brother by the hand, she led him into the building. Your class is 2-inch A. The teacher knows. Minato shouted after us, and I had to turn around. Smiling at him with a sincere smile, I turned away and my brother and I flew into the building. Inside, everything is the same as before. White ceilings, green walls, wooden floor, and wooden doors. Oh, nostalgia. After telling Kaoru that I know where our class is, he just nodded and followed me. Going up to the 3rd floor, I found our target, well, or my good old class. By the way, I completely forgot to tell you how my brother is dressed. He is dressed in black breeches, and a green t-shirt on which the mon of the Uzumaki clan is painted. In short, we are exactly twins, even the tastes of clothes are the same. My brother knocked on the door, and we were allowed to enter. As soon as I opened the door, my best teacher appeared in front of me. Irika-sensei. When he saw me and my brother, he just smiled and nodded. My brother didn't notice it, and neither did the children. Does he know? Awesome. Entering the classroom, Kaoru gave sensei the papers. He accepted them, read them all, and nodded approvingly. He turned to the class, and began to speak. So guys, these are your new classmates. Guys, please introduce yourself. He turned to us. The first one decided to introduce himself to Kaoru. My name is Kaoru Uzumaki. He said. Wow, so he also knows how to make a beautiful voice. His voice was soft and peaceful. Looking at the girls, they blushed a little. Oh, Sasuke, you've got competitors. Hee hee. I'm 10 years old, what I love and what I don't, in principle it doesn't matter. I hope we will become good friends. He bowed low, then stretched out and looked at me. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My voice was quiet and calm, and most importantly soft. The boys of the class immediately pricked up their ears, even Sasuke. But the girls started shooting lightning at me. Oh, stupid. I love orange, yellow and red. I don't have any friends in Konoha yet, I only have a brother. I hope that you and I will become one big, friendly family. I had to smile at them with my most sincere smile. After a short silence, Irika asked us to sit in any available seat. Without thinking, we immediately sat down with Sasuke. He just grinned, and then continued listening to the teacher. Yeah, this lesson is so boring. I almost fell asleep. Sasuke shook me every time so that I wouldn't fall asleep. And Kaoru shrugged his shoulders knowingly. He has already passed this topic in his academy, because in Uzushio, children develop much faster. No, I don't want to say that children in Konoha are stupid. It's just that the program is different there. That's the end of this lesson, yeah. The teacher left the classroom, and the guys blew up and came up to my brother and me. So much so that even the girls could not squeeze through to their Sasuke-kun. Guys, why do you have red hair? One boy asked. Well, yes, this color is very rare, especially in Konoha, and the children have not studied the clans yet. My brother just rolled his eyes. Because we are from a strong Uzumaki clan, explained the brother. But then, one pink-haired and blonde beast slipped in. The pink-haired one looked at me and laughed, started poking at my hair. Yes, there is no such place. And there is no one stronger than Itachi. And you're just show-offs. Sakura snapped. Yes, I'm pretty sure that this pink-haired beast is called Sakura. When I saw Ino behind Sakura, I was surprised. Yes, and there, you have blonde hair, so they are not real, but dyed. And so untidy. Ugh, that's disgusting. No one will look at you like that. She put her hands on her waist, thereby showing that she is slim. My brother was about to object, but I stopped her. I'm sorry, but I don't know you, so I'll call you pink-haired fool. She was surprised by my effective word. Firstly, the Uzumaki clan exists, but you don't know it, because you're still stupid and don't know anything, and you haven't passed this topic. Secondly, my hair is real. I have no right to paint them or cut them off. And I've had blonde locks since I was born. So, envy in silence. Having said everything, I continued to look at her while sitting. She began to examine me, noticed a purple diamond, and neighed again. She pointed her finger, and then all the girls laughed at. Yes, the Uzumaki clan really exists, but he is not in Konoha because he is contagious, and he was quarantined. And sent away from everyone, so as not to infect the rest. Guys, get away from them, otherwise they are still contagious. Sasuke-kun. Get away from them. Here she is a bitch. She wasn't like that in my world. Everyone immediately moved away from us, and Sasuke continued to sit still, but he already wanted to stand up for us, but we stopped him. Then the bell rang, Sensei entered the classroom, and the guys sat down in their seats. I feel it will be difficult for me here. All the lessons were completed, the guys quickly went home. Sasuke and Kaoru promised to wait for me downstairs, because they left me to talk. Naruto, why do you need this? He looked at me skeptically. You're Jonin and Anbu, don't yell like that. Yes, but I promised my parents. And most importantly, Sensei, do me a favor, leaving the office, and then out of the building. When I saw the guys, I ran up to them, taking their hands. We went to the training ground number 5. Itachi and Shisui were already waiting for us there. The guys were looking forward to training with Itachi. And Shisui and I came to the river, which Figs knows where it came from, because in my world, it wasn't there. But then looking at where it starts, I saw a waterfall, so small, only 15 meters high. Leaving the guys, we went there. After unwinding my ponytails, I began to go into the water, while not using the chakras. Shisui looked at me blankly. What are you doing? He asked. Without answering his question, I continued walking to the waterfall, climbing on a rock. I completely went into the waterfall. Sitting on a rock, in the lotus position, I briefly closed my eyes, and then opened them again. A stunned Uchiha looked at me, and tried to understand something. She smiled at him, and then said, Shisui, come to me, it's great. And this will be our training. He blinked, started taking off his sandals, then his t-shirt. As soon as he took off his blue t-shirt, with a big collar, I saw a beautiful male torso. Blushing a little, and then coming in order, I called him. He started to go into the water, went to the waterfall, climbed on a rock, and sat down next to me. After looking at him for a while, I blushed again. Uchiha sat in the lotus position and closed his eyes. Water flowed from him, his curly hair continued to be curly and blue. He sat straight like me, he did not succumb to the pressure with which the water beat us. Small drops trickled down his body, and trickles flowed down his neck. After watching the guy for a while, I continued my meditation. To be honest, I do not know how long we sat like this. We only heard the sound of water and the screams of the boys who were training with Itachi. Then, I heard Shisui's voice, he was calling me, that. Naruto. Opening my eyes, I turned my head to Shisui, our eyes met. Looking into those black eyes, I drowned. Yeah, after all, the Uchiha are really very beautiful. Especially Shisui. Ugh, damn it. Naruto, get ready, what, Uchiha? He smiled, spat water out of his mouth, and then said, we've been sitting here for 3 hours, and the water is cold, we need to get out. He moved closer and closer to me, I grinned. Got up, and, pike, dived into the water. Swimming to the surface of the water, and breathing in the air, I went ashore. Turning around, I saw Uchiha, who was standing and looking at me. It was like seeing the 7th wonder of the world. He also dived into the water and then came ashore. He stood in front of me, and put the wet hair behind my ear, then looked at my clothes and blushed. What's wrong with him? It's not decent for me to say this, but... Naruto, your t-shirt is wet, so I know, if you can't see, then I'm all wet. I answered him. He shook his head. Your bra is showing through. He said and turned away. Blinking, and slowly lowering my head down, a very perverted picture stuck to me. My t-shirt was translucent, and there was a red bra visible, and my not small breast size. Squeaking, I turned around and blushed. If you want, put on my t-shirt. If anything, I have a spare. But she's with the Uchiha clan Mon. For some reason he got angry, turned to me and turned me around, looked into my eyes. And what? And if someone sees you like this? After all, you are the Haim of the Uzumaki clan. It's inappropriate for a princess to walk like that, he said, and then blushed again and turned away. I just lowered my head. For some reason it hurts me. Why does he see me only as the Haim of the clan, and not as a shinobi? No, I see you as a shinobi. It's just that it would be unpleasant for me if others stare at you. And ahead of your question, no, I can't read minds. I just guessed. I felt somehow warm, and then I blushed again. It's right to say that Uchiha owners, thanks. I took his t-shirt, ran into the bushes. Making sure that no one sees me, I quickly took off my t-shirt and my underwear, hid them in the seal, where I have a sword. Wearing an Uchikovsky t-shirt, and drying his hair. I felt a little uneasy. It's good that I have long hair, they cover the mon of someone else's clan. I'm done. Coming out of the bushes, I saw Shisui, who had already put on a new t-shirt. He started examining me, pointed his finger at me to spin, and I had to spin. He just nodded and we went to the guys. When I came to their field, I saw this picture. Itachi is standing in the middle, the boys are lying on different sides, and breathing heavily. Itachi saw us, and then me, came up to us, Naruto, and our clan suits you. I just had to look away. Why are you so wet? We just had such a training session, said another Uchiha. Approaching the boys, we realized that they were asleep. Itachi took his ototo and Shisui my little brother, and threw him on his back. And we all went to us, very slowly, so as not to wake the guys. We walked through the streets of Konoha for about 10 minutes. There is a wind outside, because of it my hair dried out quickly. And not only because of him, he just tried his best. Due to the fact that my hair dried out, they began to fly and feed to the wind. When the Uchiha passed next to us, they saw their coat of arms on my back, were surprised, and then rejoiced at something. And they quickly left somewhere. To be honest, I was shocked by this behavior of the guy's clansmen. Also, the residents looked at me somehow wrong, well, or just Chunins or Hunins. I'm tired of all this, and I decided to ask the guys what's wrong. So Uchiha brothers, what happened? Why are they all looking at us like that? I asked it quietly. They exchanged glances, and then Itachi said that, they all see the coat of arms of the Uchiha clan on your back, and they think that you are someone's wife. Well, the passing clansman thought that Shisui or me. After all, there is no one in the clan with red hair. He then began to giggle nervously. I hit my forehead with my palm. Holy shit, Shisui. Having looked at this bastard who knew that everything would be like this. He began to step back. For the first and last time. I said and went faster than them to my house. And this t-shirt was much bigger than me, it reached up to my thighs. No wonder they see the clan crest. Naruto, stop. Wait for us. Shisui shouted. That's how I started spending my happy days in Konoha. Yeah, it turned out interesting. Yo. Hello everyone, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I live in Konohagura no Sato, well, or a village in hidden foliage. I am 12 years old. At the moment I am a jounin of the village, and a former ANBU. 2 years have passed since I moved to this village with my brother. A lot of things have passed during this time. Well, let's take it in order. First of all, I am studying at the academy under the cover of a stupid girl. After Sakura disgraced me, no one talked to me for a whole week, of course, then Sakura mocked me, well, not only she, but all the girls of the class. One day a pink-haired fool noticed that I was flirting with Sasuke. And then she called the whole Uchiha fan club, and beat me up. Ask why I didn't fight back. Yes, because I'm a stupid, incompetent fool, I don't know how to do anything and I don't understand. And if they found out who I was, I would have a lot of problems. But then Iruka-sensei started talking about clans and their ability. And then he explained what kind of purple diamond it was. Well, he said, at my request, that it was like a label. Then my brother and I began to be respected. After all, the Uzumaki clan is on a par with the Uchiha clan. And the brother in general became the second cupcake symbol of the class. And then, we found good friends. At the expense of good friends. Kaoru and I have 3 Uchiha best friends. Namely, Shisui Uchiha is a funny kid. Smiling, kind, cute, handsome, smart and, oh. I was carried to the wrong place. Itachi Uchiha is the genius of the Uchiha clan, or just my second named brother. Sasuke Uchiha is my first named brother, or my best friend. My brother and I trust them as ourselves, and they trust us. In 2 years, we have become very close. I even went as a Chunin on a mission with the guys. It's not strange, but when Sasuke goes home, me, Shisui, Itachi and Kaoru go to the training ground, and then I fight with the boys. During all this time, my skills have grown very well, and why all? And because my brother and I, or rather, the Uchiha brothers, introduced us to Kakashi and Gai. When Gai-san found out that I was a taijutsu master, we sparred with him, you wouldn't believe it. But I won. But still, I take lessons from this green beast. And then Kakashi started teaching me his lightning techniques, of course, here again the Uchiha tried. I quickly found a common language with this bookworm, even now he can just come to our house and talk about life. After all, as he put it, guys, I like you. Of course, Kaoru didn't understand this phrase then and ran away. And then I was wary of him for a month. I also managed to make friends with Asuma, Kurenai, well, oddly enough, and with Kushina. After all, the brother likes to go home to them to play with his brother, and just eat good food. And I'm what, and I'm not what. I just agree with my brother and go with him. Secondly, the elders told all the Chunins that I was Jinchuriki, they began to fear me, but also to respect me. After all, no matter what. I go to all the meetings of Chunins and Chunins with my head held high. Although, some people don't like me. Yes, they went to the forest, you can even has Hiram. Thirdly, because of the Hokage's order, I had to fight with all the Chunins to make sure that I was worthy of this title. But as I said before, my chakra is yellow-red, because of this, all my techniques are yellow-red. Especially Rasengan and Chidori. Yes, I persuaded Kakashi to use this technique. But strangely enough, I won everyone. And how can you not win here? I am a master of taijutsu, kenjutsu, master of swords, fuinjutsu. And a professional healer. It's not strange, but I managed to defeat Kakashi and Itachi. And those bastards were strong, then I had a headache for a whole week. After all, they both tried to imprison me in genjutsu, cretins, well, the last, at the moment I'm sitting at a meeting of Chunins, next to Itachi and Shisui. Hokage distributes mentors into teams. Although, I have to take the genin exam now. Ask why? Just for fun. It was funny to watch Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai. After all, they got themselves a real pain in the ass. That's just one thing confused me. Kakashi has team number 0, of course I saw new guys in my class, but to him, what about team number 7? I'm sitting on a pillow, in the front row, and I almost fall asleep until I hear, kilometer. So, well, the last team, this team is number 7. It includes Uchiha Sasuke, Kaoru Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno. It hit me like an electric shock. I began to listen attentively to the fourth. And their captains will be Uzumaki Naruto and Shisui Uchiha. What? What the fuck? Why are there two of us? Ah, kurama, exactly. But why me? Jumping up from my seat, thereby attracting attention, I started shouting at Minato. Why me? He looked at me dumbfounded. He exhaled, and motioned with his hand for me to sit down. Obeying the order, I had to sit down. And then, Yellow Lightning started talking. Well, because you are a jounin, and your knowledge, you can easily teach them a lot. He smiled a little. If we had strained relations with Kushina, then with Hokage, only a business relationship, and that's it. Then why are there two of us? You know Hokage-sama, if Shisui is around, they won't even look at me and won't listen. I said skeptically. You're wrong, Naruto, Shisui suddenly said. Sasuke is trying to reach your level, and Kaoru is not far behind him, and respects you. And if you're about the pink-haired dude, KM, Uchiha started coughing. I almost laughed. He probably got used to me calling Sakura a pink-haired fool, so he started calling her that. That is, if you're talking about Sakura, then I'll talk to her myself, okay? I replied, and pouted like a mouse on the rump. That's great, the meeting is over. Everyone is free. He gave us an order, and we started to get up from our seats. I wonder how my brother is doing there, the academy. The class of our heroes. POV Kaoru. I am sitting at our desk, and I'm waiting for the bell to ring. It's just that these stupid chickens are pissing me off already. Especially this pink-haired fool. She pisses me off with her Sasuke-kun and Kaoru-kun. I just don't understand her. Does she have nuts instead of brains? Sasuke and I have told her 200, no, 1,000 times, and her friends to get behind us. In Uzushio, even then, the girls did not behave like this. Their pride just wouldn't let them, or their manners. After all, no one here knows that I am the prince of the clan, and they don't need to. Sasuke sits silently, and holds his mind with a brick. How many times have I tried to do this? It doesn't work. Only a sister can do that. And she's not here today, she's at this stupid meeting. I envy her, sitting there, listening to the Hokage, and answering questions that I already thought idle, but no. This pink-haired miracle has become attached to my sister again. If she was a kid, I'd punch her. What's bothering me? That's right, upbringing, pride, and the sister herself. She personally told me not to touch this chicken. If we let Kami get into a team in a place, I'll hang myself. Listen, Kaoru, where is your sister? She skips the exam, and she missed the first stage of the exam. My friend Shikamaru Nara said from behind me. He's lazy, but smart. For the first week of my sister's training, we quickly became friends with him. But Naruto was the first to find a common language with him. It was as if she was pulling everyone towards her. I saw it, they were drawn to her, but for some reason they were afraid. Yes, she was worried. No wonder, she was always clumsy and stupid. Compared to me, she is not who, Kaoru-kun. How can you, such a genius, have a stupid incompetent sister? Ha ha ha. Pink, if it wasn't for my sister's ban, would have punched you. I winced, and Sakura thought that I agreed with her decision. But how wrong she is. It's not me who's a genius, it's her. It's like walking to the moon to me. Listen, Sakura. Aren't you tired of it, huh? Choji Akimichi asked. Also my friend. He is very kind and vulnerable. But, a little, approximate, slipper, well, yes, a little, chubby. Naruto is very nice and beautiful. By comparison with her, you are zero. She started blushing with anger, and then, yes, she's stupid, weak. She can't do anything at all. She's the latest in our class. Uzumaki was probably afraid to come to the exam so as not to embarrass herself. And I'm prettier than her. I'm right, Sasuke-kun. Uchiha shrank. He also knows that Naruto is pretending, but Sasuke doesn't know everything about my family. The brunette does not even know that she is a Jinchuriki, Databi. That word again, children. Take your seats, we are starting the second stage of the exam. Iruka-sensei shouted. Classmates began to take their seats. But there is this, but everywhere. Iruka-sensei. Please tell me where Naruto Uzumaki is. Hirono said with a kind of victory cry. It doesn't matter. She'll pass later, and now we'll get started. Sakura mumbled something, and sat down in her place. And we started to pass the second stage, the end of Keiru's POV. At the moment, I'm sitting on Mount Hokage. And I look at Konoha. Lots of memories. But the most important ones are in the heart. Well, why are you sitting here? Asked the red-haired ball of wool. Yes, it's just boring. I'm thinking about my new team. What if I fail? And if I mess up somewhere? What will happen then, Kurama? Heavy sighs were heard in my head. I don't blame him, because it's really difficult. I don't know small, I don't know. They came to you, my supervisor distracted me. He landed nearby and sat down. It was Shisui, because Itachi left an hour ago on a mission. Looking at my friend, I involuntarily smiled. And then I saw his smile, which he sent to me. His black eyes, and his white skin, he's perfect. Uchiha is very kind and responsive. He's already 17 years old, and he still doesn't have a girlfriend, sucker. Although, I saw a herd of girls running after him. I don't know why, but these 2 years have brought us very close, and he has become so dear to me that I'm not even ready to let him go. Nowhere and no one. Hi, Uchiha. Hello, Uzumaki. Ha, ha, ha. You are, don't copy my greetings. He laughed too, and then stopped, so abruptly, not even usually. What are you doing? Yes, a lot of things have happened this day. We're in the same boat now. And then, he also ran away from other girls. He. To be honest, Naruto. Then I'm also nervous, although Sasuke and Keiru are there, it's easy to cope with them, but Sakura. And there is a lot of responsibility. Shisui said. It was as if he had read my thoughts. I don't know why, but I hugged him. He was a little surprised, but then a minute later, he hugged me too. I felt so warm, because his hands are so warm. And her breasts are hot, a real hot water bottle. Despite my age, but my soul is old, even older than Uchiha's. I just know what I need. I know, Shisui, but there are 2 of us, and we can handle you. We pulled away from each other. But, thanks to my strength, I laid Red-Eye on my lap. He was shocked, but then he got comfortable, and began to pull my bangs, because my hair is unbound. Listen, Shirkuin, I haven't sung to you before, have I? He looked into my eyes and then shook his head. But I want to hear your voice. Smiling at him, I looked at Konoha, and then back at Uchiha. With my hand, I buried my fingers in his hair. They are so soft and elastic. Was it my imagination, or did he purr? No, it didn't seem like it. Okay, taking a deep breath, I began to sing, Let's, as if from a chase, I'm flying headlong, with a heart that has suffered, I want glory but should I, however, thinking about others all the time and risk yourself for them, deal with the desire, deal with suffering, deal with the shadows, and through the darkness, holding your breath, they flew by like an arrow, and while on that path, what's in love, what's in war, I'm still far from the end. What is this song? Uchiha suddenly asked. Looking at him, I lightly smiled out of the corner of my lips. These songs are mine. In every song, there is some truth. Well, why share? All my songs are true. I wrote them from my own experience, well, or what's in my soul. He was looking at me and trying to find something, but here's what. My hair cascaded down. And they covered Shisui's face. It was like we were locked up, he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. Sing something else? He asked, raising his head, thereby hiding his bangs behind his ear. And leaning into the wind, I begin to sing. From the bottom of my heart I press the pedal, don't waste words, we're rushing away with you, forward we fly through the night, I will tell you only at the end of the road why, in general, should we have gone, and time to overcome, open your heart and where to go, get closer with a friend, put your whole soul in, but you listen to yourself, make me, you want to live for a long time, what's the use, if they don't hold their legs, let them, I will drop the pain and sadness, I will go forward, why the guile? Why the guile, after all, on the way to you, we are definitely waiting for she's the other side, it's beautiful. Listen, Naruto, who did you sing to anyway? Looking at Uchiha, I got the impression that he was not ready to give me up. Why would that be? Nobody. I sing only to those who are dear to me, well, not counting the family. From Konoha, you heard it first. He smiled. Next to him, I want to fly, well, or just protect. I see. He smiled with the tips of his lips. And then, I couldn't control my words. But I wanted it. Bending his head to Shisui, looking into his eyes. I saw desire in them, but what is it? Leaning even closer, I kissed the ghost on the lips. Such a light kiss. He was dumbfounded, no, he was out. That's what I thought. I was about to pull away, when suddenly, Shisui grabbed my head with his hand and pulled me back. And then Ada's it all. He kissed me, lightly at first, so as not to scare me off. I wanted to object, but because of this I opened my mouth. The brunette took advantage of this, and stuck his tongue into my mouth. He even knows that this is called child molestation. But, I started to respond to his kiss. The kiss was light at first, but then it began to grow into a desirable one. Our tongues danced. Each of us tried to get the better of this kiss, and I'm even sure that I turned him on the contrary. Butterflies fluttered in my stomach. I haven't experienced this for a long time. Everything became clear to me. I love Shisui. Trying to pull away from him to straighten up, because I don't like this position. My neck is already numb. Here we ran out of air, we pulled away from each other. Looking at Uchiha, I immediately blushed, and looked away from him. Naruto, he made me look at him. It will probably be stupid, but I love you, and I want to be with you always. Protect and protect. But if you, before he could finish, I plugged him with my finger. Shisui, I love you too. He abruptly got up from my lap and hugged me. This is a new story. The story of our feelings, and our adventures. POV Kaoru. I woke up early today, and by myself. My sister always lifts me up, because I am a real Sonya. I looked at my watch, and it was 7:30. I wandered into the shower until Naruto took it. After doing all the water treatments, I went back to my room to get dressed. Entering it, I immediately went to the closet. Opening it, I immediately caught sight of a dark red t-shirt with a monogram of the Uzumaki clan. And black breeches. Wearing red elbow pads, and bandaging his left leg with bandages, and securing a pouch for kunai on them. I fixed it on my left leg. It remains the last, most importantly, the sheet protector. Putting it on my forehead, I looked in the mirror. Mom and Dad would probably be proud of me, because yesterday I passed the genin exam. Leaving the room, I went to the kitchen, but my sister was not there, but only a white sheet on the table. Going to the table and taking this piece of paper, he unfolded it. It turned out to be a note, and from Naruto. Brother, I'm sorry, but I went on a mission. This mission is very difficult and difficult, I can't tell you I'm sorry. Take breakfast in the refrigerator. And don't you dare be late for the distribution, or I'll blow it. Good luck, your little sister. Yeah, she's like always. Someone will be lucky with a wife. Hee hee. Taking a pancake out of the refrigerator, I started having breakfast. Quickly, well, or slowly having breakfast, washing the dishes, looking at the time, and it's already 9:55. Your mother. I'm late. Having reached the hallway, shinobi shoes and sandals, I flew out of the house, not forgetting to close it. Realizing that I was already late, I jumped onto the roofs and ran along them. I ran for about 3 minutes, reached the academy. I saw an open window, and this window leads to our classroom. Jumping into it, I landed on our desk. And there are all these stupid chickens already. After looking around, I jumped off the desk and punched Sasuke's fist. I walked around the desk, sat down in my seat, and then it started. Sasuke-kun, Kaoru-kun. Can I sit down with you? Shouted, no, squeaked pink-haired something. Sakura is dressed as always. Red dress, with 2 cutouts on the sides. With the back of her Mon clan, well, or the surname Haruno. Her treads are on her head like a hoop. Yes, I do not argue, she has a beautiful hair color, it is gently pink. And those green eyes, like fresh grass. I'd fall in love with her, but she's a real bitch. Why, Lobastea, it's you who will sit with them. I'm going to sit with them. And now Ino. My god, Ino, in the end, you're the Haim of the clan, and you behave like that, you're not ashamed of yourself. Shut up, Ino pig. And then they start fighting again. I didn't listen to this nonsense, but just looked at Sasuke. He was waiting for someone. That's right, Naruto, listen, Sasuke. Naruto, she's not coming to. Immediately it became quiet. And then a quiet giggle. I told you she was a stupid chicken. Elementary failed to pass the exam. Kaoru-kun, how do you walk with her, aren't you ashamed? Grinning, I already wanted to tell her everything. But I wasn't given by Iruka-sensei. He entered the classroom and ordered us to take our seats. Everyone was waiting and hoping. And what to hope for? Databe, the girls were thinking, or rather dreaming about Sasuke and me. My god, Iruka began to instruct us on the path of shinobi, and the like. But I wasn't interested. I was waiting for him to start assigning us to teams. Oh Kami-sama. Please, not the pink-haired squeaker, ahem, ahem. Let's get down to the commands. And so, Team 0, Sadie Kara, Dick Minora, and Kat Sarutobi. The commander is Hatake Kakashi. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, I can't, and seriously unlucky. There, the cat even cringed. Then I was not interested, just bored. Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame, and Kiba Inazuka. The captain is Juhi Kurenai. Team of detectives, great. I don't know why, but when I look at Hinata, she blushes. She is a very nice and beautiful girl, although shy. Team 7, Uzumaki Kaoru, Sakura Haruno. Oh, no. Kami, you did this on purpose, right? What have I done to you? And Sakura rejoices, got up from her seat and started squeaking, "Our sensei can't continue because of her." "Can I continue?" the teacher asked, and Haruno sat down. Ahem, ahem. And Sasuke Uchiha. After that, the pink-haired beast's head was blown off altogether. She beeped for the whole class, with a smile on her face. Sakura looked at Uchiha and then at me. She turned back and showed her tongue to Ino. Envy, Ino pig. Kami, Sama, she's still a child. They'll kill her and she won't even notice, Haruno Sakura. Can I continue? She nodded and took her seat. So, where did I stop there? Oh, yes. Mentors. Your mentors, Shisui Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. What? All three of us got up from our seats and said in unison, "What?" Then the door to the classroom opened and my sister came into the classroom. Holy shit, I haven't seen her like this for a long time. She looked stunning. A high ponytail, and the hair itself reaches to her knees. Only the front blonde strands were not braided into a hairstyle, and framed her face. Her protector with a leaf was on her forehead, thereby closing the byakugu. She is dressed in black mini shorts. And an orange kimono jacket on top. Her big black belt hugged her slender waist. And the breast, which is already the second size, looks good. On his right hand, he is wearing an orange elbow pad. And on the right leg, the knee is covered with bandages. Behind hangs a pouch for kunai, beige color. I also noticed a black-colored wristband that was on my left hand. I see, katana means. On his feet are black shinobi sandals, with a 10-centimeter heel. In short, our captain is fire. What? Why is this stupid chicken our captain? At these words, I felt a heavy ki. Quickly reacting, Sasuke and I closed this pink stupid mouth. She looked at us with incomprehension. Is it Naruto Hime or sensei? Damn it, Shikamaru. Fuck, what are you doing? I wanted to talk to you yesterday, but you weren't there, so. Your father is expecting you at 8 today. Nara bowed low and sat down. So he knew everything, well? Ugh, damn, he's a Nara. Don't talk to me like that, Shikamaru, we're still friends. And just Naruto. This is for my team, I'm sensei, and for the rest, just Naruto. And don't call me Hime. It's somehow not familiar to me but Sakura didn't let her sister finish. Shikamaru, why are you acting like that in front of her? She's just an incompetent, and a fool. Oh, that's it. It's time to go. Sensing danger, I wanted to run. But, Haruno. How dare you talk to your captain like that? She wanted to object, but she didn't have time. If you don't know, and no one does, I'll tell you. Naruto Uzumaki and Kaoru Uzumaki came here 2 years ago. But before coming here, Naruto was already a Chunin. At the age of 8, she became a Genin, then 6 months later a Chunin. A year later, as a Chunin, and then a year in the service of the ANBU. She was brought here because they keep 2 villages in the world. Master of Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, Fuinjutsu. So, you should still jump with happiness that you are learning from her. Well, the genius of the Uchiha clan. Sakura stood and blushed, and from anger. Sasuke's mouth was open, I had to close it. Thank you for putting me on, Irika-sensei. And now, team number 7, get out quickly. I'm waiting for you on the roof. She said and disappeared. What does she think she is? Sakura shouted, and then sat down in her seat. Sasuke and I exchanged glances and jumped out the window. Sasuke-kun. Kaoru-kun. And then she ran out of the classroom. The end of Keiru's POV. Shisui and I were sitting on the railing on the roof of the academy, waiting for our team. Exhaling air, due to nerves, I started biting my lips. Feeling someone else's hands on my waist, or rather my boyfriend, I relaxed a little. Calm down, everything is fine, said Uchiha, and put his head on mine. Shisui, let's make sure that these three don't find out about our relationship. Why? It's because of Keiru, I just don't know how he will react. But I'll tell him everything, I promise. But if I see that you are flirting with someone or they are with you, you know what will happen. In confirmation of my words, I cracked my fingers. He staggered, but then he kissed me on the cheek. I promise. And immediately moved away from me, because our little children came to us. Sha would have squeezed. Especially Sasuke, he's so cute when he's angry. What do you mean, Uzumaki? Sakura shouted. Uchiha Sr.'s ears cramped, he scratched him already. So, let's get acquainted. Suddenly Shisui Uchiha himself said, give us an example, sensei. Said the pink-haired fool, and began to flirt with my Shisui with her eyes. He blushed, and then turned white. Probably remembered my warning. Well, all right. I am Uchiha Shisui. I'm 17 years old. Jounin. There is a girl, and she is very jealous. From this phrase, everyone went into shock, well, except me. I love my clan and my cousin. I don't like wars. The dream, well, probably to have a good family. After these words, my cheeks turned treacherously red. Heck, I'm next. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Jounin. 13 years old. I love this village, and my family, as well as the clan. I don't like arrogant geniuses, and the same warriors. My dream? I don't know yet. Doesn't that remind you of something? Kurama suddenly asked. Of course, Ku. How to forget? And then we laughed together. I'm next. My name is Sakura Haruno. Genin. 13 years old. I love you. A loving look at Sasuke, and that muzzle with a brick, slipper, I call it, power face. Exactly po.r. My dream, you. Bled, Shisui, she's on you. So, Naruto, get ready. She's your best friend. There, and now here, get together, rag. And I hate Naruto. Oh, nostalgia. Next. Sure, Kun pointed at my brother. He sighed, my name is Uzumaki Keiru. Genin. 13 years old. I love my sister and my friends. I don't like when they don't tell me something and deceive me. He squinted at me. And I just scratched my head. A dream. To help my sister in all her endeavors. Keiru smiled, I also answered him, okay. Next. I ordered. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. Genin. 13 years old. I love the clan and my family. I don't like it when my friends are threatened. My dream is to become the head of the clan and find out why you, Naruto, are our captain. Well, I'm going to fulfill the second dream for you now. I was on a mission, disguised as a dumb girl. My task was to observe you. But Sasuke, I swear that you and I are still best friends. And just call me Naruto. And his sensei. She pointed at Shisui. When we are alone, we will talk to you on you, and when in public on you, it's just according to the regulations. Sasuke and Keiru nodded. But Sakura, she started to get angry, got up from her seat, and started to go somewhere. I won't call you, or even, sensei. To me, you're just a dumb fool. Boys send. Why should we be here? They looked at me, I nodded to them. Uchiha Jr. and my brother got up and followed Haruno. She smiled triumphantly, and then the three of them left. Ugh, damn, I completely forgot to say about the workout. Shisui started laughing, came up to me, hugged and kissed me. Responding to that kiss, I wanted more. But he pulled away from me, took my hand and led me somewhere. Where are we going? Let's go find them. Why, let's watch. Grinning a fox smile, we both moved to the children. After all, they left very close. Landing on the roof of the house, we began to observe. The guys are standing in a circle, the boys are talking about something. And Sakura is trying to flirt with them. Something I don't like this Haruno. In my world, she wasn't such a bitch. Boys, let's go to the cafe. Oh, you're naive, Sakura. No. The boys said in unison. Ha ha ha, oh I can't. That's the face. Sakura is out, so, listen to us carefully, Haruno. If you talk to our sensei like that, then you will fly out of our team like a cork. Wow, and Kaoru burns. I agree, you are already crossing all the boundaries. You not only disgraced yourself in front of Shisui and Ai-san, but also offended Naruto. Uchiha shouted. Well, boys. She's an incompetent. What can she give us? It can be seen that Sakura is very angry. I'll have to help her. She's very strong. Kaoru shouted. Deciding not to listen to their conversation anymore, I got up from my knee and went home. Where are you going? The Sharingan bearer asked. Without turning around, I answered him, home. Let's go. I said. Why? His voice sounded intriguing. Grinning, I turned around, thereby showing my fox smile. I shook my head, it seemed to me, or I offended him, well, or just broke off. We need to make a schedule for their training. In the meantime, go and tell them to come to the 7th training ground tomorrow at 6 in the morning, I will train them. He nodded and disappeared. And I went home. Not like everyone else on the road, but on the roofs, POV Shisui moving to the guys, I smiled the most sincere smile. They were surprised at my person. So guys, tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the 7th training ground. Okay? Smiling again, and looking at my wards, I realized that they, yes, sensei. They shouted together. That's nice. Bye. Using my favorite technique, I moved to Uzumaki's house. Going to the door, where there was a sign of the Uzumaki clan, I knocked, and heard a choice mate. Yeah, it's not a good time to go. When I heard the steps of my beloved, who became my girlfriend yesterday, I already imagined how I would receive. Here Uzumaki came to the door, she opened the door, and I was blown away. She was wearing only one towel. She kept her right hand on her chest, thereby holding the towel. Naru was staring at me and trying to figure something out. I tried to hold my face with a brick, but nothing worked. My cheeks turned pink. I was looking at Nara, and again I realized that she was charming. Her wet hair framed her face. The thin legs trembled a little. A wet towel clung to the slender body of my beloved. And the breasts, apparently, of the second size clearly stood out. When she saw my appraising look, she blushed and ran away, but she didn't close the door. After going into the apartment, I closed the door and simultaneously took off my shoes. He went into the living room. There were a lot of papers and scrolls on the coffee table. Sitting on the sofa, I started waiting for Naruto. It took about 5 minutes, and she appeared on the threshold of the room. Black miniskirt, green t-shirt and wet hair. Fuck. Did she dress up like that on purpose? She wants to seduce me. Naruto walked into the room, sat down next to me, took a mug that was on the coffee table and started drinking. Without forgetting to look at the papers. I threw my arm over her shoulder, went down, wrapped my arm around her waist and hugged her to me. And then I inhaled her orange scent. He kissed the neck, and then the top of the head. So. I called you here not to make love, but to make a plan. Naruto said. I choked on the air. Her straightforwardness will bring me to a heart attack. And I wouldn't dare to hurt her. When she wants to, then we'll see. And so, she's still a baby. I didn't even think about it. I answered her honestly. Well, almost honestly. Okay. We need to make a plan how to train them. Otherwise, we will have a lot of problems. She took a piece of paper and a pen. I started writing something. So, our wards. What can they do? Well. Sasuke is the element of fire, throws kunai well, not bad taijutsu. Oh, and also, Itachi told me that he noticed that his stupid younger brother was doing something chemical with lightning. Great, POV Kaorui are all together, namely, Sakura, yes she is, we still took her with us. Then Sasuke, and me. Now we are going to Ichiraka Ramen. The best place on earth. They cook such ramen there that you can lick your fingers. Approaching this diner, we opened the curtains, no one was sitting at the bar. And behind her was old man Tucci, and his daughter I am. Hello, old man. I said hello. Oh, Kaoru-kun. Are you with your friends today? And where, Naruto-chan? What is it? He asked it. Yes, he's probably sorting out papers now. Come on, old man, we need 3 large portions, and put more tomatoes in one of them. I asked. It will be done. We have an order. And they started cooking. Listen, Uzumaki, do you eat only ramen? Uchiha teased. Very funny. No, I've never eaten ramen before. It was my sister who got me hooked on him. Smiling, and taking the sticks, I began to think. Sakura, tell me. Why don't you like Naruto? Looking at Haruno, she made a smart look, like she was thinking, and then grimaced. Sasuke also looked at her. Well, probably because she's arrogant, clumsy, weak, arrogant, and stupid. Were you talking about yourself? And also, because she climbs to Sasuke-kun. From the turn of events, I choked on air. What the hell did he give up to her? Why would she need Sasuke? I asked. But Uchiha frowned a little, so I didn't understand. Your 3 servings. Enjoy your meal. Strarik gave us 3 servings, Sakura and I have meat, but Sasuke has tomatoes. Kami-sama, I feel like there won't be a single tomato left on the planet with this troglodyte. As soon as we ate, and we ate for a long time, about 3 hours. We just talked about everything we could afterwards. Then we went home. When I got to my house, I heard my sister laughing, and someone else. Opening the door quickly, I flew into the apartment without even taking off my shoes. Oh damn. I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, not about that now. So, I fly into the living room and see there is not a good picture, namely, my sister is lying on the couch and laughing. In her right outstretched hand, there is a white piece of paper. And on the sister lies Shisui-sensei. And he's trying to get this sheet. And most importantly, he laughs too. His left hand is on his sister's hand, and his right hand is reaching for the sheet. And he himself is kissing her. What are you doing? Of course I'm already a grown boy. Well, after all, POV Shisui, what are you doing? When I heard a scream behind me, I quickly got up as a victim and walked away. Kaoru was standing on the threshold of the room. Damn, what a bad time, just a little more. Yeah. Naruto flew up from her seat and got up from the sofa. I straightened my skirt and t-shirt. Her hair is already dry. Why are you so early, brother? She asked, and blushed a little. It became funny to me, and I began to hold back my laughter. Uzumaki frowned even harder and looked at me. Am I interrupting you? And how early it is, it's already 7:30. Naru was electrocuted, she jumped on the spot and ran into another room. I didn't understand anything, and her brother even more so. He went into the room and sat down on the sofa, started looking at me. Well? Well, what? I sat down on a chair and started looking at Kaoru. Don't be stupid, sensei. As I understand it, you're dating, right? He squinted his eyes impudently, and I just had to smile like a moron and start scratching the back of my head. Damn, what a shame, I'm 17 years old, and I got caught, although we weren't even doing anything, but just fooling around, playing. And I am being scolded and tortured by my own student. Shame. Yes, we are meeting. Naru wanted to tell you, but I don't know when. And no one knows about our relationship. It's just that she's the Hime of the clan, and I'm just a shinobi. Kaoru smiled for some reason and leaned against the back of the sofa. Yes, she's Hime, well, it doesn't mean anything. If she loves you, then she can give up her title. And knowing her character, she will definitely leave. So if I ask her to marry me, she'll join my clan? Uzumaki just nodded. My heart felt somehow lighter and calm. And most importantly, good. As I imagine that Naruto will wear the coat of arms of the Uchiha clan, it takes my breath away. But do you love her? Awesome question. Of course I do. Uchiha themselves love only once. Just understand, we are Uzumaki, we love only once. If we fall in love, we won't let go. Because of this, we only try to let relatives get close to us. And we push others away. So that's why, when you came, Naruto immediately refused protection. At the same time, yes and no, Uzumaki smiled nervously, but then he put himself in order. Kaoru, I love your sister very much. We Uchiha also love only once in a lifetime. He surprisingly started blinking. I leaned my body forward and put my hands on my knees, and grinned. I see. But, there is still a big but. Kaoru smiled devilishly, something I don't like. At that moment, Naru flew into the room. She was dressed like this afternoon. She kissed her brother on the top of his head and me, she just said, so, boys, I went to the bunks. Kaoru, I'll be late. Don't tear down the house, please. She also quickly flew out of the house. Yeah. So, where were we? Oh, yes. What's the but? He began to giggle terribly. Kami-sama, is he really a child? As I understand it, you want to propose to her later, right? I started to hesitate, then blushed a little. But he pulled himself together, and nodded uncertainly. Kaoru started to smile again. Before making an offer to the Hime of the Uzumaki clan, you should talk to her father, or, more simply, to our Uzukage. And also with his wife, well, or our mother. And at the end with our brothers. Hee. Imagining this picture, how I will ask for the hand of my beloved daughter Uzukage, and his evil face, I forgot something. And then with the elders. And why the elders? Well, so that the kids were good, and all that, well, you understand. After the words of the kids, I blushed a little. Yeah. If you think about it. Then our children will be very beautiful, even too beautiful. I'm even afraid to imagine how strong they will be. After all, if you mix the blood of the Uzumaki clan and itachi. It will be a real brain explosion. I see. I got up from my seat, went to the exit. Uzumaki followed me. I started putting on my shoes. As soon as I put my shoes on, looked at Kaoru. He was smiling like Naruto. Now you can definitely say that they are twins. Smiling at him and saying goodbye to him, I left Uzumaki's cozy apartment and went home. When I got home, I took off my shoes and went into the living room. I was just about to take off my t-shirt when someone knocked on my door. Saying to himself, the choicest mate. He turned around and walked back to the hallway. He went to the door and opened it. Itachi was standing on the threshold. Why is he so out of breath? And what time is it? And 2020. And what is he doing here? Itachi, did you quarrel with Izuna? Or did your mom kick you out of the house? Ha ha ha. Looking at him, I realized that he was getting angry. He walked away, thereby letting him into the house. He walked through, took off his shoes and went into the living room. That's what it means when you spend more time away than at home. Closing the front door, I followed him. I entered the room. Itachi was already sitting on the couch, and looking at one point. I don't like him for something. Did he eat mushrooms or something? Slipper, and then I burst through. I sat down on a chair and looked at him. Well? Why didn't you tell me? Why am I learning this from my stupid little brother? Aren't we friends anymore? The brother looked at me with a challenge. To be honest, I didn't understand anything. Shooting him an incomprehensible look, I looked at him. Why didn't you tell me you had a girlfriend, and what makes you think that I have it? He arched an eyebrow. Don't take me for a moron. Someone told me when we were in training. I quote, we met our teachers today. To be honest, I was stunned. I couldn't even think that Naruto would become our teacher. And Shisui too. And also, did you know that he has a girlfriend? The end. He stared at me with his eyes. I couldn't help myself. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, I can't. Ha ha ha. Itachi arched an eyebrow. And then he frowned. I stopped laughing abruptly and looked at my friend with a serious look. Yes, I have a girlfriend. Just promise me you won't tell anyone. We just agreed not to tell anyone. He nodded. This is the hime of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto Uzumaki. He opened his mouth, got up from his seat. I folded the seals, and put up a barrier against the rumor. It will be now, what? Naruto's povey got up early, around 8. I'm going to the training ground now, they'll probably kill me. Thank God I warned Shisui to come at 9 as well. Yesterday I went to the bunks. The head of Shikaka Nara just asked to make their barrier stronger. At first I didn't understand anything, and then I asked why I, and not Kushina. He answered me something about Uzushio. Just shrugging my shoulders, I weighed all the pros and cons, strengthened the barrier with them, and now I'm getting dressed. Dressed like yesterday, took a deep breath. I went to the kitchen. I had a quick breakfast, and moved to the landfill. The sun was already high, although it was only 9. The guys did who what. Kaoru was lying on the grass like a star, and I think he was sleeping. Sasuke was sitting on a stump and seemed to be looking out for us. And Hirono was sitting on the grass and watching Kaoru sleep. Uchiha saw me, jumped off the stump. Sakura was blown up. Even for Kaoru she stumbled. My brother came to his senses, took up the kunai and jumped to the ground, saw me and ran to me. But despite her speed, the pink-haired one came running first. You're late. How can that be? Uzumaki, you're totally freaking out. Shisui-sensei asked us to gather here at 6, and you weren't here. She screamed and waved her arms. She started pointing her finger at me. Unable to stand it, I grabbed her hand, twisted her arm, she fell to her knees and began to squeak. Sakura, I don't want to spoil the relationship with you. But it was I who gathered you at 6 in the morning. And I wanted to know how patient you are. After all, as you know, a ninja should be able to endure. And, as I see, you, Haruno, do not know how to tolerate. And if you were on a mission and didn't wait for the right moment, you'd probably be dead by now. She looked at me with dumbfounded eyes. Sakura stood up, dusted off her skirt. Stop. What? A skirt? Did she fall out of a tree? Why is she dressed like that? She was wearing a pink top, and a pink skirt with deep slits on the sides. And her prominent places were covered by black tight shorts. On his head is a blue leaf protector, and on his feet are blue shinobi sandals. Somehow, vulgar. She stood in front of me and chuckled. She folded her arms on her chest and turned her face away from me. And one more thing. Why are you dressed like that? What is this appearance? Envy in silence. My eye probably already started twitching. She will soon bring me to the white knee. Damn it. Shisui suddenly appeared, with his trademark smile. What a noise, but there is no fight. As always, one positive. Sakura immediately relaxed, began to make eyes at him. Show off your slim waist. Sasuke and Kaoru made a hand, they are already tired of it. So. To be honest, I wanted to give you a test on the bells. But I have a much better idea. I started walking to the center field. Standing in the middle, I turned to my team, if you ever get me, well, or scratch me, then I will teach you. And if not, then Shisui will take care of this matter. If you understand everything, then let's start. Yes, I love you with one left. Sakura didn't even understand the essence of the task, and she's already flying at me. While she was flying at me, I heard from the boys, oh, fool, I agree. So Haruno ran up to me, took out a kunai, swung. But, I managed to intercept the blow. With one blow, I beat off the kunai, and then I push it away with my foot. She rolled head over heels for about 5 meters. The pink-haired one stood up and looked at me with all her negativity. She wanted to attack me again, but Sasuke picked her up and all 3 of them disappeared. Not bad. Have you finally guessed? Looking into the distance, I did not find them. Have you hidden the chakra? Not bad. I turned around again, and saw Shisui coming towards me. He came up to me, and looked at me, bent down. So, I didn't understand. And then he kissed me. There are children here. Pushing him away, I began to frown. Don't be afraid, they've gone far. And Kaoru knows, what's wrong with him? He's too affectionate. Uchiha somehow does not behave like that. He reached for me again. And I'm from him, it looks like a game, catch up and kiss. Dodging my boyfriend, I didn't notice how kunai flew at me. Jumping back, Shisui looked at the place where the cold weapon had come from. A second later, I see a blue t-shirt. Sasuke. The second, the army of kunai flies at me and Shirkun. I'm looking closely. Damn, the seal explosion. I cover my face with my hands and disappear in a red flash. I land on a tree. What is it? Uchiha is kind of strange, and the children. CSR. I feel someone else's chakra, Kaoru. I'm running there. So, what do we have here? Oh, my dear brother, that's how you set traps. Ha, naive. I think you forgot that I taught you these Fuin seals. Before Kaoru left, Sakura came running into the clearing, all dirty and out of breath. Oh, and why didn't you hide the chakra? That's right, you don't know how. So, what are they talking about? Thanks to Kurama's chakra, I can hear their conversation. And she hid her chakra. Even if Kaoru is a good censor, but he won't find me and he understands it perfectly, even looks around. Well? My brother asked, everything is just fine, Kaoru-kun. She ran away, probably scared. She just couldn't stand such powerful seals. What did you say, Fuin? Uzumaki slapped his face with his hand. And Sakura is not looking at him clearly. Sakura, well, how many times can I tell you not to yell? The red-haired man hissed, and she didn't run away, it was her sister's seals. She gave me these blast seals. So, be careful. And, by the way, where is Uchiha? Haruno started to blink her eyes. Ah. So he's looking out for Naruto. Kami-sama. Why is she yelling like that? Because of the strong squeak, I covered my ears. She moved behind Haruno. I put a kunai to her throat. Because of fear, she just started to tremble. Sakura, I think Kaoru told you not to yell. You lost, Sakura, by folding light seals, so that Kaoru would then remove this technique from her. Putting her hand on her shoulder, the pink-haired woman froze. Winking at my brother, he attacked me, and I just disappeared. So, now the younger Uchiha. Moving to another branch, and then another and another. I returned to our field, where it all started. Looking around, I spotted a familiar chakra. And then, the bearer of this chakra stood in front of me. It turned out to be Sasuke. And then 30 seconds later, the others appeared next to him, namely Sakura and Kaoru. They took out kunai, and got into fighting poses. I started to drive the chakra through the channels. Soon, the guys attacked me. Sasuke made a big fireball, and Kaoru added wind to this ball. Thus, it turned out to be large. After folding several seals, I summoned a water shield. He shielded me from that light. Then, I noticed a chakra behind me that belonged to Sakura. She ran behind me and threw a kunai. Without even turning around, I just dodged him. And she sent Haruno flying, in a windy stream. There's dirt everywhere, you can't see anything. The dust has settled, and there is no one in front of me. Yeah. Relaxing, and not noticing kunai, he flew near me, and tore my elbow pad. Well, not bad. Turning 180 degrees, I saw the real team number 7. Congratulations, you passed. To be honest, it's my own fault that I relaxed. But, you proved to me that you are ready to become one team. They stared at me with incomprehension, and I just smiled gently. Soon, Shisui appeared. Fuck, where was he? He was smiling as always, but, some kind of wrong smile. I started to squint at him, although no one noticed it, except for Uchiha himself. That's what it means to serve in the ANBU, you are all well done. Congratulations. Especially you, my stupid little brother, what? What did he say? I didn't hear it. And you're Kaoru-kun. Create such a big fireball. Yes, and connect the techniques. Well done, he smiled again. That's it, you're a dead man, Itachi. Taking out the kunai, I rushed to the Uchiha. He didn't understand anything, and before I could deflect the blow, I knocked him to the ground. Sitting on top of him, I put the kunai to his neck. The children caught themselves and ran to us. Stop. I shouted at them, but I didn't take my eyes off that stupid clown. The children stopped. Having folded the seals, I dispelled the technique. And here, in front of me lies Itachi. Frowning, I started looking into his eyes. The guys were in shock, probably even out. What do you mean, Itachi? I burned it all the same. But how? Getting up from it, I hid the kunai. He was looking at me, and so were the children. Easy. First of all, Shisui won't ever come to me in front of children, well, or in public. Sakura and Sasuke tilted his head to the side from this phrase, and somehow looked at me incomprehensibly. But my little brother, he just started nodding his head, and his hands are locked on his chest. Secondly, he has a different smile. Thirdly, you burned yourself by saying your favorite phrase, and without even noticing, my younger stupid brother, Uchiha the elder, started grinning, and then looked at me, thus asking to continue. And fourthly, Shisui knows that Kaoru and I don't like these stupid consoles. Such as, Kun, Chan, San. Itachi laughed. And then, Shisui appeared on the field. Oh, what a meeting, my love. He smiled and waved to all of us. I look at him, all angry and twitchy. She began to quietly climb into the pouch. Remember, I told you that this bag can stuff everything into itself. So, I forgot to download the most important thing. There's also my mother's frying pan lying there. She sent it to me for my 12th birthday. To drive men. Taking out a weapon of mass destruction, and starting to twist it in your hand. Itachi, Shisui, and Kaoru immediately turned pale. As soon as I took a step, Kaoru immediately disappeared. And the Uchiha brothers began to back off. Sakura and Sasuke don't understand anything. That's not necessary. So Uchiha brothers, I haven't punished you for a long time. It's time to fix it. They gave a run, and ran to Konoha. Stop. I'm running with this frying pan, all over our big village. They look at me like I'm crazy. Well, never mind, I'll arrange it for them now. So our catch-up lasted 2 hours. Until the boys decided not to run into their clan quarter. But am I special? I ran in there too. The Uchiha are running and screaming for help. And their clansmen look at it all with dilated eyes. I don't know how, but I caught up with them. And hit everyone well in the face. What to add to the frying pans, Fox? What? Their faces remained. They are lying on the ground and looking at me. And stars are flying around their heads. If it happens again, I promise. I'll shove your Sharingans up your ass. Understood. Out of fear, the Uchiha brothers began to nod their heads. And the rest of the Uchiha began to laugh at this spectacle. Having removed the weapons of mass destruction, I wanted to get out of here. But everywhere there is this stupid but. I bumped into Mikoto-sama. Naruto-chan, hello. I see you're chasing guys again. A very kind woman. We still need to look for such. Smiling at her, I replied, yes, they just messed up a lot. Mikoto-san nodded understandingly. And then she looked at her son, who was trying to get up. Huh, it's a frying pan. You can't just get up. I see. Oh, by the way. Come to our place for lunch. We have meat today. I'm sorry, Mikoto-san, but I can't. We need to write a report, and look at the missions for tomorrow. And then they can take away the most boring ones. Uchiha laughed. She said goodbye to me, and we went in different directions. After looking at the boys for the last time, and activating the kurama chakra, I started listening to the boys' conversation. Kami-sama. Shisui, why did you fall in love with her? Itachi whined. I don't know, but I love her very much. And I'm not going to give it to anyone, owner, I know. And he himself, oh, fuck you. I won't help you anymore. It's too painful for me to do. Well, actually, this is our assignment. We have to protect Naruto. Yes, I know. But if you get married, and you will quarrel, and then she'll kick you out of the house, then don't come to me. I don't want to be complicit. I didn't listen anymore, that's enough. I was walking all red as a crab. Shisui wants to marry me. Kami-sama. This is, that's it. Ay. Without thinking anymore, I ran home across the roof so that no one would burn me down. Oh, my life is a tin can, a week has passed. This is the most boring week of my life. Well, if you don't count the date with Shirkuan, then yes. Our team performed the most boring missions. They are already sitting in the 5th spot for the guys, and my nerves are not the same with them. Thank you Kami-sama that Shisui calms me down every night. You don't think anything like that. Just hugs and kisses. The guys, and I, are already infuriated by the same mission. Catch the cat Toru. I thought that this mission would not be here, yeah, dream Naruto, dream, but at the moment, I'm lying in bed right now. 7 in the morning. In an hour, we meet with the team at the Hokage residence to receive the mission. I thought I could sleep for another 30, well, an hour at most. But this is not destined to come true. Someone rang our doorbell. Saying a checkmate to myself, I got out of bed. And she went to open the door. Going into the hallway, I turned on the light and opened the front door. There was a postman standing there. I'm sorry for visiting so early. It's just that this letter was asked to be delivered to this address. Does Naruto Uzumaki and Kaoru Uzumaki live here? He looked down at me. Yes, it's me Naruto Uzumaki, he smiled, took out a letter. Great. Here, please sign, he handed me the form, taking it. I signed my painting. He bowed and left. Closing the door, I went into the kitchen. I put the kettle on. I looked at this envelope. For Naruto Uzumaki and Kaoru Uzumaki from family, interesting, well, open it quickly. Why are you procrastinating? Well, first you need to wake up your brother, and then read, and if there is something bad. And you will read it first, and then tell your brother. Roughly speaking, you will infuse it. Yes, you are right, I'm always right. Opening the envelope, I began to read, Dear Imito and Ototo. Your older brother Aki is writing this to you. Remember, sister, you said 3 years ago that I was going to have a baby. So, then you also said, as soon as he appears, immediately write to you. So, I'm writing to tell you, what, yesterday my daughter was born. A copy, well, we don't know yet. I invite you to this celebration. It will take place in 9 days. Oh, and more. We signed with Rosa 2 years ago. I'm sorry I wasn't invited to the party. We just knew you had a lot to do, your brother. Yay. I squeaked to the whole Konoha. I even heard my brother fall out of bed. After I shouted at the whole Konoha, my brother ran into the kitchen. What happened? What's going on? His eyes are rounded and his hair is disheveled. He has a kunai in his hands. And he is dressed in red pajamas. Brother. We're going home. Raising my hands up, I began to smile and laugh. And he arched an eyebrow, and looked at me like a fool. Sister, well, we're actually at home anyway. Kaoru put the kunai on the table, sat down on a chair. No, Kaoru, we are going, or rather we are going to Uzushio. Patting him on the head, I gave him a letter, and he began to read it. While he was reading, I heard my kettle boil. Turning off the gas, I took the kettle off the stove, poured myself and my brother tea. Turning to the red-haired man, I saw, as he had round eyes, like saucers. He turned the page over, looking for a new letter or message. Laughing, I put one mug on the table and started drinking the other. Naru, so it turns out. Have I become an uncle? There was happiness and zeal in his eyes. Well, I think he wants to hold the baby in his arms as soon as possible, yes. And I'm an aunt. Aunt, Naruto. And that sounds good. Ha ha ha. Finish your drink, I went to my room. And Kaoru follows me. When I entered my room, I began to pack my things. Sister, are you sure they'll let us go? Looking at him, I arched an eyebrow. Well, you're the captain of our team. And the fourth one is unlikely to let you go. My brother rested against the door jamb, and looked at me piercingly. His hands were on his chest, in the lock. And this means that he is very puzzled, If he doesn't let me go, then I will break through myself. Having said these words, I continued to pack my things. Kaoru just chuckled triumphantly, and went to pack his things. A second later, a small chicken appeared in front of the blast furnace. Well, how many times should I tell him? While we are in Konoha, so that he does not come out. What do you want, red-haired creature, and you don't get sick? Listen, Naru. Didn't it seem strange to you that your brother didn't even say that he was already married? And knowing your character, he would be the very first to send you an invitation letter. Kurama involuntarily frowned. And he's right. Something doesn't stick here. Yes, you're right. Something is not clean here. But, what exactly? Frowning, I continued to pack. Having collected all the things in a briefcase, and I have this special briefcase. I have so many seals in it that it has become like an endless one. Then, I started to put on my everyday uniform. And what, you're going anyway? Even if it's a trap? The fox began to release his ki a little. You don't think about yourself, because you know that I will help you. But, Naru, at least think about your brother. Throwing my briefcase, I sat on my knees and scratched Kurama behind the ear. And I'm thinking about him. But, knowing his character, he won't let me go alone. And he had already seen the letter. So, we'll go just the two of us. And we'll leave the rest on Shisui. When I left the room, I saw my brother. He was already going to eat, too, yes. It's enough for 4 days. Of course, if we jump trees, he grinned, and I frowned on the contrary. Kaoru noticed Kurama, and already wanted to pounce on him. But he saw his obscene smile, and climbed back into my print. Haha. The great and mighty Kubi, but Yoko is afraid of some boy. Yeah, you should have seen his grin. He definitely wanted to mock me, he growled, and began snoring again. I fell asleep. Going into the hallway, we both put on our shoes and left the apartment. Kaoru closed the door and we went to the Hokage residence. As soon as we got there, I immediately saw 3 fools. To be more precise, Shisui, who was looking at the ground and thinking about something. Then, Sakura, who stuck to Sasuke. And the Uchiha himself, who tried to get rid of the Velcro. Hello everyone. My brother said happily. The guys immediately looked at us and smiled. Well, except for Haruno. You're late. Stop it, she screamed. No Sakura, you just came early, I answered her. Well, if everyone came, then to the Hokage. My voice didn't give anything away. He seemed to freeze. My playfulness is gone. The Uchiha noticed it right away, but everything was smooth for the pink-haired one. She turned around and went into the building. Kaoru looked at me and clenched his fists. He realized that something was bothering me. But he didn't show it, and went after Sakura. The guys went ahead, and I stood still all the time. Shisui came up to me, examined me, and frowned. Why do you need a briefcase? And for traveling, his voice was cold, even colder than mine. He was looking at me piercingly. It seemed to me that he even wanted to activate his Sharingan. Kaoru and I are going back to Uzushio. Since I was lower than Uchiha, I didn't look him in the eye, but just at the bottom of the dot. My voice was cold, like snow that came suddenly. Why? Are you leaving me? He grabbed me by the shoulders with his hands, and began to shake me gently. Look into my eyes. It was like he was growling. Well, that's not surprising. After all, Uchiha love once, and no one lets go of what they hold dear, sole proprietors. I can't take him with me. It's too dangerous. After all, he is also dear to me. And if something happens in the clan, then everyone will be suspected. I told him to do so. Because of this we need to leave. But I do not know for how long. Come on, don't be silent. Naru. Say something. Why? Why are you leaving? Did I do something wrong to you? Maybe I offended you? Looking at Shisui, I didn't see more than one emotion. It scared me. It's the first time I've seen him like this in all 3 years. This is exactly the character of Uchi. Removing his hands from me, I looked into his eyes. No, Shisui-kun said very softly to make the situation calmer. She shook her head and lowered her eyes again. It's not about you, or even Konoha. This morning, Kaoru and I received a very important letter from Uzushio. It said that my older brother had a daughter. And we need to urgently come to the holiday, which will be in 9 days. My voice was as if depressed. I have such a bad feeling. Well, my heart is aching. Something definitely happened. At Aki? He was confused. Looking at him, I was a little surprised. His cheeks were a little red. Yes, nodded her head. So it's great, he said and smiled. Not really. His smile disappeared. There was something else written there. And it worries me. I have a bad feeling about this. It seems to me, or there are some problems in the clan. Because of this, we need to go home urgently. And, I do not know exactly when we will return. He just nodded understandingly. He hugged me and kissed the top of my head. No wonder Kushina-san also went to Uzushio. When we had a shift, we worked in the Hokage's office. And that day, his wife came to the fourth and said, Minato, I need to go to Uzushio urgently, and don't ask why. Just have to. Give me your ANBU. Of course Minato-san gave her an ANBU and she left. She's been gone for a whole week. After this good information, I couldn't help thinking. Well, the road takes 4 whole days. Of course, you're a pro. And so, a week at most. If you think about it. Then, Kushina is a very strong kunoichi. She could reach Uzushio in 5 days. If you also count the stops. Then it's clear why she's been gone for so long. But, something is still not the way I think. Good. And now, by the 4th, the Uchiha will nod to me, and we went to the residence. The 5 of us are standing in the Hokage's office. There is a third one standing next to him. Sama. He reads something in the documents. Minato looks at Kaoru and me intently. I walk forward. Hokage-sama. I ask you to let me and Kaoru go to Uzushio. He frowned and began to nag me with his eyes. The third raised his eyes to me, and smiled. Does he know? This afternoon, my brother and I received a letter from Uzushio. That my older brother had a daughter. And they want us to come to this holiday. His expression quickly changed. It's like a stone has fallen from my soul. The fourth smiled. Congratulations. Well, I can let you go if. I narrowed my eyes. I don't like it. If you take your team with you, what? No, I won't put them in such danger, but, before I could finish, the blonde interrupted me. Not what, but, Naruto. You'll take them with you. And your team should have already seen other countries. You can show them your homeland. And they should get to know our allies better. He smiled sweetly. Frowning, and clenching my fists, I involuntarily threw away my ki. Sister, Keiru's voice was trembling. Turning to my team, I saw how the children's knees were shaking. CSR. After removing such an evil ki, and turning to the Hokage, I just nodded. Good. But no, Hokage-sama. We'll probably be gone for 3 weeks. A maximum of a month. Namikaze frowned, and involuntarily clenched his fists. And then he nodded. Great. Well, team number 7. We're moving out in an hour. Take what you need yourself. We are waiting for you at the main gate. There is. And then the children left, and Keiru and I disappeared into the Shunshin. The guys gathered quickly. Here we are standing near the gate. I see you've got everything you need. Excellent. Now we go out. Sasuke and Sakura had large briefcases. And I, Kaora and Shisui were small. Just the seals helped. And I see you haven't collected anything at all. Sakura screamed, and tried to walk. She took too much. It's just that I have special seals that make the briefcase endless, I said, walking ahead. It doesn't happen that way. Or does it happen? Sasuke asked, who was looking at me intently. Everything happens to Sasuke, everything. Give me your briefcases, I'll put the seals there for you. Uchiha Jr. gave his briefcase without any problems. Having stamped it, the briefcase shrank and became light. Cool. Will you teach me, Naruto? Sasuke put on his briefcase. Shisui and Keiru smiled. And Sakura began to grin. My brother was enraged. He just came up and put a seal on her briefcase. It has also shrunk. Thank you, Keiru-kun. Haruno hung on to her brother. Good luck, brother. Get off me. He threw off the pink-haired one. And then I looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, this is a special Fuin seal. Only Uzumaki can own it. So, I'm sorry. Keiru guiltily lowered his head. Oh, you asshole, you just don't want to tell the secret of the clan. Well done, though, nothing, I understand. Uchiha went ahead. And now, let's go, guys. Shouting, we all went down the road that led to Konoha. Wait for me. I'll be home soon. Mom, Dad. 4 days, for 4 whole days we have been going to Uzoshio. Kami-sama, why are you doing this to me? Why Sakura talks all the time and so? For what? Shut up already, Haruno. My brother couldn't stand it, and yelled at her. At the same moment, Sakura stopped and stood in a stupor. We had to stop too. You understand that we can't walk normally because of you. We stop every 40 minutes. And although they could have been in Uzoshio for a long time, it was obvious that my brother was already boiling. Keiru-kun, she mumbled. I went up to my brother and put my hand on his shoulder. He looked at me and calmed down. The pink-haired one began to boil, and then she burst. Keiru-kun, it's all because of her. It was she who sent us where I don't know there. We've lost our way. And all because of her. She's an incompetent. Shisui and Sasuke fell into a drop. They didn't expect to hear such words from the mouth of this flamingo, so. Enough. Uchiha Sr. came out of his stupor, and took everything into his own hands. He came up to me, bent down and whispered in my ear, let's move already, otherwise the boys are already starting to boil." Then he pulled away and moved away. Closing my eyes, and then opening them again, I realized that he was right. We should have been there a long time ago. And we are only on the border of fire. Too long, too long. Okay, you must be tired already. Well, then, I started to approach my team. Shisui approached from the other side. Activated the Sharingan. And we formed a small circle with him, in which our students stand. We began to fold seals unknown to them very quickly. And then, we suddenly find ourselves near the Uzushio gate. I start to fall, but Shisui manages to catch me. I notice myself that he is also not in the best shape. He has severe shortness of breath, and his right eye is closed. He turned off his dojutsu, and we turned our gazes to our students. "Hey, Naruto fool, where did you send us?" Sakura squeaked again. "Shut the fuck up, you can." Kaoru couldn't finish because he was interrupted by the gate guard of the Whirlpool village. "How dare you call our Haim a fool?" He twisted her, and wrung her hands. She screamed, broke her arm. "Kneel, that's enough. She's my student." I leaned on the body of the older Uchiha and he leaned on mine. The guard released her, bowed. "We are very glad to see you again. Kaoru-sama, Naruto-sama. We are also very pleased to meet your students." He straightened up. I just smiled brightly and showed the children to follow me. Sasuke and Sakura nodded. "Is Uzumaki at home?" I asked. "Yes. Waiting for you." "Warn you." "What is it?" he asked. "No," I said, and shook my head. Kaoru went ahead, and we followed him. By the way, I completely forgot to describe the guard. Like everyone else's, red hair, like frozen blood. Bright green eyes, like summer greens. What a jounin uniform. We have a special one, black pants, and the same sandals. Black turtleneck, yes, throat. The turtleneck itself is filled with seals, so that if someone is injured, the seal itself activates and heals the wounds. And on top of this turtleneck is a red t-shirt with the clan crest on it. And most recently a dark red vest that we all followed my brother. He walked there calmly and examined the area, as if checking whether anything had changed here. Shisui and I had already recovered a little, and we walked calmly. The elder Uchiha looked at my village with admiration, and seemed to be trying to get into it. I even somehow became proud of my village. Turning back, I saw the same eyes of Sasuke and Sakura. Only now Sakura's hand has already started to turn blue. I didn't like it at all. Stopping, I began to wait for them to come to me. As soon as they approached me, I immediately took Haruno's hand. She grimaced in pain, but then felt relieved. I started treating her. 3 minutes, and everything has already passed. She looked at her hand in amazement, and then at me. I just smiled and walked on. "Keep up." I shouted at them. And I already heard how the guys started to catch up with me. The 5 of us are standing in Uzukage's office. Sakura and Sasuke tried to merge with the air. But Shisui tried not to move at all. Only Kaoru and I stood and grinned at all 32. Suddenly Tasama got up from his seat, and somehow smiled in his native way. "I am very glad to see you again, my children," he told us. My brother and I nodded at the same time, and in this position we answered him, "We are glad to see you too." Then Sama, we straightened up and smiled again. "Tasama, I want to introduce you to my students." I turned to the guys, and their eyes bulged. That's right, they didn't know that I was the daughter of Uzumaki, and in principle, Hokage. Okay, not about that now. I pointed my hand at Sasuke. "This is Uchiha Sasuke. The youngest heir of the Uchiha clan," I said, and he just bowed. "Very nice to meet you, Uzumaki-sama." He pulled on a clan mask. And this, Sakura Haruno, Sakura from Surprise, bowed almost to the floor. Then she straightened up. Oh. Excuse me. Very nice, Yuzukage-sama, she blushed like a cancer, and I just grinned. Then he bowed to Shisui, glad to meet you again, Yuzukage-sama. He straightened up and looked my father straight in the eye. There was some kind of confidence in them. Only here, I don't like this confidence at all. I am the second mentor of team number 7, nice to meet you, Shisui. It's good that you came too, I'll need to talk to you later. Said the father. Hi, replied Uchiha. CSR. What will they talk about? In the meantime, come to our house. I understand that you just got off the road, so go ahead. My wife will be waiting for you at home, as well as my sister-in-law. My brother and I beamed. There is. And we left Yuzukage's office and went to our house. Home, my sweet home. That's the end of it.